Welcome to the Path of Exile community podcast, Fated Connections, where BalorMage and myself discuss Path of Exile topics with changing guests in a relaxed talk setting on a bi-weekly rhythm. Since the podcast is constantly growing, I'd like to not only say hi to the live audience here on twitch.tv/CatmasterOP, but also extend the warm welcome to the viewers on youtube.com/BalorMage, as well as all the listeners on the various podcast platforms that we can be found on. Good morning, day, afternoon, evening, and night, everyone. We are now 3 weeks into the current Path of Exile Challenge League Harvest. For reference, it started yesterday, 3 weeks ago. I'm sure we all have a lot to talk about, and tonight we're joined by our repeating offender, SlipperyJim, who's known for his Mimi videos.
Yeah.
Hi. And in the other corner, we have the one and only SuitSizeSmall, who you all should know. And if you don't know him, he is the guy who's been running the labs for the PoE lab for an incredibly long amount of time.
Forever?
Yeah, it's been 4 years at this point, over 4 years, since lab was released March 2016. So just past 4-year mark 3 months ago.
So if anyone ever used PoE Lab and looked up a lab layout of the actual day, it's very likely that SuitSizeSmall actually made that overview for you. So glad to have you on the podcast. Welcome here.
Thank you.
Hi.
How have you been?
Go for it.
My league start's been a bit strange because I knew that those new labs were happening, so I usually would start with a regular lab runner who just talks Grain Pathfinder and 400 move speed zoom all the way through the lab. But with the new melee skills, I decided, hey, let's try slams. That was not a good idea. It's not a good idea to start with slams.
No?
It was rough, and I hit yellow maps and it really slowed down. And then the character was actually planned to be a reverse chill setup where you use Winter Weave to speed yourself up rather than slow down when you get chilled. But then I saw the lab mods and said that's not going to work because I'm going to die. And so I did re-roll into that Toxic Grain character, and then I've just kind of been running that and various other builds. So, bit of a rocky start, but I kind of finally got my footing once I did my usual Pathfinder.
The Pathfinder's good enough for the Giga Lab?
It is not. I actually am currently working on. That character was for regular lab, and things actually kind of lined up well because when I finished that character and got to Uber Lab, I had 2 good days of Uber Lab farming. And then after that, I tried to make a Giga Lab farmer, as you called it, and it was defensively sound, not offensively sound, so I couldn't really do it on that character. And now I'm currently working on a third build. I did take the speedrunner into one of the labs to see what would happen. I literally died in 10 seconds. I saw the one pack of mobs and they killed me.
Oof.
I legit said, this is a bad idea. I ran to a dark shrine to get it. I saw a rare and it just killed me right away. It's like, oh, yeah, that was a bad idea.
Yep.
What eye level are they? I haven't even been in one yet.
They are level 83 with additional map modifiers.
Ooh. That sounds good.
Yeah, we'll probably talk about the map modifiers later because they're intense. Some of them are intense.
I'm very curious to hear about that later. But before we go into that, Balor, you wanted to say something really quickly before early on.
Oh, I
you
just
felt
wanted
like
to know if
interjecting.
you practiced that intro.
Oh yeah. I actually
In front of
scripted
the
that
mirror.
out.
Like that legitimately seemed like practiced. That one, like.
Yeah. No, it was actually legitimately read off the script. I can't speak freely.
Nice.
I'm getting better at it.
It sounded very professional. I was just like, that was.
It sounded very PR.
Well, it's supposed to be smooth. It's trying to the thing is, look, we got SlipperyJim on the podcast. You have to ease the people into it.
Like 50% of my old videos, or the really, really, really fast talking ones, are 100% scripted. I just like reading quickly. Why can't you sound natural when you read? Give me the script, I'll do it.
Honestly, I thought you would just like freestyle shit talking like really fast. Like
No,
just
no,
whatever
no.
comes into your head, like a freestyle rapper kind of, but without the
If I do
rhymes.
that, I stumble over my words. I mean, sometimes, yeah, when I'm excited. But like most of them, if I'm actually making sense when I'm talking, it's because it's a script.
Huh.
Yeah.
I just write like I speak, so you can't tell. You know, ineligible. Ineligible? Inintelligible.
Children, write that down.
Illegible?
If a YouTuber
Isn't that
is making
illegible?
sense while they speak, they're probably reading it off some script.
Yep. Most of us
I would
are
agree with
idiots.
that.
All of us.
I mean, if you could talk well without a script, then you would be a politician or something like that, right?
You'd be a liar. Yeah. I could totally do that. If I just talk like quick enough for people not to be able to understand me and make me sound intelligent, or I'll get put in a hospital, one or the other. Or
One of
I'll be
them.
nominated president of the United States. No, yeah, politics is allowed here, isn't it? Let's do it. Where are you from, Catmaster? I don't think anyone here's American. Maybe.
I
Oh shit! Yeah, we can do politics now. At least
think,
one side of it.
I think you'd look weird with orange skin and stuff like and comb over
You know
hair.
what?
But anyway,
I don't want to talk about politics anymore.
no, please don't. Tell me about your league starter.
Oh man, I hate League Start. I hate it. So
But you still did league start.
yeah, but I hate it. I just shit at League Start, so I don't like it. So I just wait until I get depressed, and then I quit, and then I come back in a week when the economy's no longer garbage, and then I like it. It depends. Depends if
Are
you
you
get
still
lucky,
waiting for the
basically.
economy not to get garbage?
Well, I'm in like I'm in that Ziggy D league or whatever, so it's like
Ah,
2,000 to 4,000 people. The economy's great. I haven't seen any of these bot problems everyone else is having trouble with. X at 50C. I sold like 7 lightning crafts for 3x the other day. It's great. Seeds are crap because no one's selling them. You can't get what you want. It's great. It's like the current economy with COVID. Sorry.
I couldn't imagine any reason to play in a private league.
Oh, it's like, okay, well, if the league is before the league came out, it's like any time when
What?
people go, Jim, are you going to do a hobo league? Are you going to do uniques only league? Someone said, Jim, are you going to do uniques only league, this league where we do all the rare crafting? No, of course not. So if there's this league before it started looked amazing for solo self farm because of all the crafting. You can make any build viable. So of course,
Yeah.
playing a private league with a small amount of people is going to be somehow more enjoyable than playing whatever the fuck the bot-filled current trade economy is. Right? Maybe? I don't know. I'm having slightly more fun because of it. What were we talking about? League start? Sorry. My league start was
Yeah.
crap. I played Spectres in a private league that needed an unending hunger, and those things are like expensive in normal league, and no one gets them as drops, and no one knows where the div card is. Everything was shit, so I quit.
I found
Hey,
a
what's
div
up?
card. I found 2
Well,
div
fuck
cards.
you. Is it a blighted map or a div box?
It was from Necropolis map.
Oh,
That
that's like
makes
information.
sense.
That
Yeah,
information's
it's
worth
just a-
billions, and you've just told the public. Good job. I'm proud of you.
Wait, what are we talking about? What kind of div
Necropolis
card?
map. I know what I'm farming after this podcast. What? What div card? I know what you're talking about.
He's favoriting Necropolis right now.
Gotta write this down, or else I'll forget.
No, seriously though, like what this div card are we talking about?
Unending Hunger? The
Yeah, it's a div card
Spectre's
that gives
Soul Eater.
unending hunger.
Oh, okay.
I'm not writing this down.
I found
Yeah,
one
the
earlier. I
Spectre's Soul
forgot
Eater
about
cool.
it again. But it was like the one that gives a 2 implicit corrupted energy from within. And I want to know where that drops, but there's no drop location on the wiki. I just found one out of a stacked deck, but I really want that because it's only a set of 3, right? You only need 3 for a 2 implicit corrupted energy from within. And I mean, what are the chances that you get CB on that? But that would be so pog.
Corrupting Blood.
Okay.
Yeah, corrupted blood cannot be inflicted on you, the corrupted blood implicit on jewels.
I mean, you can just look up the chances.
Yeah, but I may be in the middle of trying to look it up.
Yeah, but then you have to
I mean-
multiply, and you have to do some sort of
Data
RNG
mining.
calculation because you have
You just
You have
add all
2
the numbers
implicit,
together
right?
and divide it by half, and then divide it by the weight. Do you not? I don't know.
now I see why the math is so good in your videos.
Oh, it's terrible. No, wait, I did that wrong. It's 8 minutes of me figuring out I did something wrong. You add all the numbers together, and then you divide it by the weight, and then you to square root of 2 or something because you're doing 2 calculations. Yeah,
That sounds
Uh,
right, but
it's not right. I know
it
how to do it.
doesn't
I'm just not going to explain.
seem.
You add all the numbers together, you divide by the weight, and then you add all the numbers together except like the highest weight, and then divide that one. It's
What if
complicated as
all
fuck.
of them
Fuck,
have the
you know that
same
Craft of
weight?
Exile website? Great.
Yeah,
was that?
yeah, I went to Craft of Exile, and they're all the same weight, so they all have the same chance.
Oh, perfect. Easy maths.
Nice.
Yeah.
Send you a bill.
Anyway, I'm just saying it's probably much higher than just on a single implicit corrupt. Double implicit corrupt. Got 2 chances to roll it.
Yeah, it's at least twice as easier. Maybe it'd be a lot easier for you to just
Slight-
get a whole bunch of them and vow them.
Yeah, getting a whole bunch of energies from within in solo self-found is probably a
Solo
good-
self-found.
Oh, right.
By the way-
My first instinct was to go, how much is energy from within? Then he said self-found, I was like, never mind.
No, but definitely having a lot of fun with the crafting in solo self-found, I have to say. I'm on my 3rd character now. I
Me too.
started with a VD Spellslinger, probably like everyone. And then when that died, just shy of level 94, I was a little bit disappointed because that was the day that I was going to go and do like the seed grind so I could progress to the boss.
Yep.
But yeah, then I died, and then I felt like I want to punish myself and do a shit build, so I did like a Molten Strike Juggernaut with the War Cries.
That'll
and
do it.
I don't want to use the word frustrating, but it was definitely an experience. And then at some point I just gave that one up, and I had a Blightwell, a Soul Strike, and a Val Regalia that was promising to be more than 500 ES. I just threw that together, and now I'm on an Occultist, Caustic Arrow, Blight, and Bane. And, well, the Bane just for applying Double Curse, really, to proc Profane Bloom explosions on the tankier packs. But other than that, I just use Caustic Arrow for clear. And what's really amazing is the combination of Blightwell and Soul Strike, which cancel out each other's downside. And then you end up with a net gain of like 50% faster start of ES recharge and 360% increased ES recharge rate during Flask Effect. So I'm sitting at just shy of 13,000 energy shield recharge per second while flasks are up. So it's like while farming, I'm almost unkillable because the recharge also kicks in just a little bit more than a second of not being hit.
Soul Thirst, Soul Strike.
Soul Strike Quiver
Soul
and
Strike
the
Quiver.
Blightwell unique
Strike.
amulet.
The Blight what?
Blightwell.
Blightwell,
It's a talisman.
Blight.
Actually,
Well,
I
not
didn't
well
even
run.
know that one existed until Cat mentioned it on stream last league. And then this league, I got one in SSF, and I was like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. Because I also had the
shit.
Soul Strike already. So yeah. I'm pretty happy working on getting the augment defense modifier, because the Val Regalia still has a free prefix. I can still slam a hybrid ES, like either hybrid ES life, hybrid ES mana, or hybrid increased life and stun recovery, increased ES and stun recovery. And but I'm not getting the augment defense. It's pretty annoying. I already removed a fizz prefix that had a reflect.
Are you
on
like
that.
planting specifically? Are you like farming seeds, trying to get defense ones, planting them, and then getting
I
disappointed?
plant
or are you
just everything
planting
that I get.
everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
Pretty sure.
you don't get that many tier 1 seeds, really. Like I think tier 1s are kind of the bottleneck for a long time, at least, until you get like the higher tier seed fields to the point that they can carry themselves, where you can store that much life force after every
tier 1
harvest.
seeds. I've legitimately bought 8,000.
I legitimately went to quarry and farmed 8,000. I've got
That
like the
sounds-
stats for how often they drop. If you want to know which one, tell me which one defense is, and I'll tell you how rare they
Although
are.
by now I'm probably also up to several
Primal.
thousand seeds. I mean, yeah. It's just you go through so many trying to get that initial life force in order to get your first high tier harvests going.
I
Defense.
actually haven't had that much of a life force problem once I hit tier 14 maps.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've got no life force problem.
They give much more life force now?
They both give more life force, and you get like 20 seeds per map.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, I've set my farm up in such a way that every farm is self-sustaining. so I can grow a tier 3 plant, 4 tier 2 plants, and then fill in the rest with tier 1 plants. And I could actually do that with like 2 storage tanks for each color
Ooh,
total.
that sounds nice.
And you could just, if you manage it perfectly, you would never need more than 2 storage tanks. You could literally build 6 farms of the same color and have a tier 3, 4 tier 2s,
Right?
and the rest tier 1, and the farm sustains itself.
But when
Do
you
harvest
harvest
at each stage?
when you harvest these tier 3 seeds, then you get like hundreds of thousands of life force. How do you store the condensed life force? Or do you just spend
What do you
it all
need
on
to
the
store
crafts?
it for?
If you don't need
Fertilize
to,
the
why do
next seeds.
Yeah, but he
But you
doesn't
don't need
it. He
to.
only
They
needs the
farm.
2.
They supply themselves. You don't need the.
Yeah,
But
I'll
we're
have to
pretty
check into
close.
your stream. I mean, I just don't understand how they sustain themselves.
Well,
So
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
SuitSize has the explanation.
yeah, I had a question, and that major question is: do you do you instantly harvest the seeds when they're ready, or do you wait for all of
yes,
them?
not every time.
Okay,
Every
yeah, that's
time a
probably the big
Shabi
difference then.
says a field is partially ready, you go in and you hit it. So
That
you're
makes
hitting
sense.
the partially ready fields. You're harvesting the tier 1s every 3 maps. And they're feeding the tier 2s and tier 3s in that plot. Or
Captain
in the
efficiency.
next colors plot, anyway.
But what if I want to plant an entire field of T4s?
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Okay, I'm gonna stick with my farm then.
That's a couple of thousand life force that you.
That'd be
Yeah,
beautiful.
don't do that.
Oh, right.
I don't
wait
do
a minute,
mine
they're the ones with the
perfectly,
boss fight.
so
Shit. Yeah.
yeah,
makes sense.
I don't do it perfectly, so I still have a decent amount of storage, and I have 4 of those self-sustaining plots, and then 1 additional, like just a tier 1 plot. And I do all of them, and I have a little bit of storage because I'm not like perfectly efficient. Sometimes it'll be like, this is a crap map, or the third map in a sequence where I'd want to harvest it was a Guardian map, and I'm like, well, this one doesn't have the div cards I was after. It loaded in a tier 14. It's not going to give me tier 16 map returns. I don't want to harvest in here. And so I wanted like a little bit of wiggle room. So I built like 1 extra of each color for just tier 1 to just store a tiny bit in case I needed to wait.
Do you, everyone else, do you know how many storage units you've got
150 something.
total?
Oh,
or just
sweet
per color?
Jesus.
Yeah,
I've got
that's total divided
76
amongst
per
3.
color.
Wait, what?
I got 76 per color times 3, and I got more room for. I got 228 storage, and like still like a massive sliver where I could jam in another like 70 of them.
I have some walking room around in mine, but I've been doing all right with the amount of tanks I have.
You
What
got
about you,
like
Kat?
12 or 16 per color or something like that at the moment. No, 12, like some multiples of 3. Like 12 or 15, I think, for each color at the moment. But I'm looking to buy more. It's just, at the moment, I also, every time I condense a little bit of life force, it instantly goes into the high tier fields anyway. But like I said earlier, I want to get to the point where I think I saw that from someone else, that you can just harvest so much life force, that, and if you can store it all, that you don't need to do any tier 1 seeds anymore, because from the leftover life force of a tier 3 field, you can fertilize
That's
the next
impossible.
harvest. Yeah, maybe I didn't look at the numbers. I'm just not
I mean,
there yet.
That
Yeah.
sounds like you need a really efficient storage system.
Yeah, that's
But
true. Like the storage
lot of
tanks are
life
just
force.
too small.
Just gotta
Well, I
cram them in
don't-
there.
I don't think they are.
You don't share the
Like-
the wish for
Captain
bigger
efficiency.
storage tanks, Uber
Well,
storage tanks.
No.
Yeah, because it depends on the strategy you're using. Most players have been doing this strategy of hoard life force, spend it, while Balor's doing the equilibrium situation where everything's just kind of
Yeah.
constantly in flux and being spent. And that seems totally fine with that little storage, because if you're just spending it right away, you're good. But most players are probably not doing that. We're trying to store as much life force as we can so we can spend it later.
Yeah, but there's also a hybrid, right? Like you could have 50 of each area, and you don't have to plant perfectly balanced farms every single time. You can farm some tier 1s, and you can have some storage, there are people like building like 100 of each storage and filling their farm and making it awkward. And it's been done. It's just the way that everybody's doing the farming stuff seems wrong.
I've got both though. I got shit crammed in everywhere, but I've got a massive area for activities that are just me running in circles, hoping not to get one shot by projectiles.
Yeah.
I love those bastards.
I've actually been caring more about my tier 1 seeds more than anything.
Yeah. So
I've been taking those buds and blossoms and placing them on my tier 1s just so I can farm Augs and remove ad crafts.
Oh, man, I wish
the
they could come.
advantage of the way I'm doing it is every single field can grow a tier 4 seed. Every single one. So I could grow 4 tier 4s of each of every color all at once. But just because you set up a farm like that doesn't mean it has to grow a tier 4. If I want to grow a tier 3, I can do that instead. If I only want to grow tier 2s, that's fine. If I run out of them and I want to just plant a plot of tier 1, that's fine. Right? Like you can just do anything. As long as your farm is capable of doing every seed, then you never need to worry about it again.
Yeah, but you sound tedious AF when you plant your T4s. You got to walk all the way across your entire farm to plant one T4 in each thing and then surround it by T3s and then surround those by T2s or just surround the T4s by T2s. Sounds tedious. Whereas I just go to my massive field and yeet a bunch of seeds in and everything works. I got like
you can just open the seed
22,000
cache from anywhere.
Yeah, you still have to walk to the farm. I'm not walking there and back. I'm picking everything up, yeeting it. But it sounds
You
so
have to walk there
tedious.
to auto plant.
What? Yeah, but you're still. It's auto planning is a lot easier than like planning. No. I walk up. I got 3 farms next to each other. They're all my T4 farms, one for each color. I can fill it full as many T4s, as many T3s, as many as I want. You can only put 1 per farm. You have to walk around your entire farm. I'm so fucking zooming when I'm farming. It's like I'm planting watermelon or something. That's a farming joke for everyone out there that knows how to grow watermelon. It's just yeet seeds. You really don't have to look after them. They're amazing. Anyway, God, it sounds like so much effort what you're doing. Yeah, you do you, man. I'm not trying to belittle your farming experience. You sound like you put a lot of effort into it, or you stole it off Reddit.
Oh no, I legitimately stole it from Reddit.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Good old Reddit.
Somebody came on Reddit and was like, big 5-head strat, every single person's been doing the farm wrong. Here's why you're doing it wrong. Here's the math that works out to make every field self-sustaining. And I was like, that's amazing. I can fit so many more farms in. Let's do it.
You have to go back more as well.
Oh, I have to buy 100 seeds per map.
Ugh.
To keep up with my farm.
You should just balance it to how often they drop in maps so you're permanently 100% efficient. It's like 30 seeds at the high-end map or something like that. You're like
I would
3
need to
times
just
more
drop
efficient
down
than you
to
need to be. Just
yeah.
delete
I would
2/3 of your farm.
I could easily delete 3 plots of every color and go down to just 2 of each color, and it would be fine. That would be self-sustaining.
Do it.
That would actually be self-sustaining with a little bit of extra room. Like I wouldn't always need the second farm.
Imagine if
but
we had this
sometimes.
problem for like Delve where people had too much sulfite. No one would complain. But now people on Reddit are going, man, I really wish we had 3,000 storage instead of 300 so my numbers can be bigger and I feel better about myself.
I mean,
It's great.
That seems like a reasonable.
Big number league.
Yeah.
Oh, you just want to
Honestly.
upgrade your farm from having 2 storage units to having 1.
That's actually kind of why I would like a bigger storage, just so I don't have 30 tanks taking up a corner.
Yeah.
It's FPS problems.
Yeah,
Just
also
have
if
one
you want to
mega
like
thing.
restructure things, I mean, most of us haven't had their final layout, but like it's just so tedious to like move the storage somewhere else.
You just
I
fuck
had
it up on the network.
117.
You're
I had
moving your storage?
117 storage of each kind in my first garden before I found
You
that
did it.
5-head and pulled it all up.
What if we just delete the boss? Like, get rid of that big tree thing and just put a massive storage tank there, like a million. Would you do it? I'd do it.
Yes,
I mean, I haven't
that
fought
boss
the
is
boss
nothing.
yet, but is it cool? Thanks for that. No, it's great. I haven't. Looking forward to killing a tree. I think. Wow, nature, Amazon rainforest league.
I'm
looking
gonna
great.
be doing that after this because I just hit the requirements to spawn it.
Ditto. And I was like,
I don't know how
start
much I
playing
want to
without
spoil it
streaming.
because something kind of funny happened. To unlock when unlocking it, I don't know how much we should talk about what the boss is.
That's
I
it's
mean,
3 weeks in. That means 90% of the player base
GGG.
haven't killed Hillock.
GGG already spoiled the name in an announcement server wide the first time it was killed.
I actually didn't see that. Thankfully.
It was
Was
just
it called Treebeard?
no.
Oh,
Look,
Yeah.
that's enough skirting around and warning for anyone who's scared to find out what the boss is
oh shit!
to
One
stop
sec, let me
listening,
mute you.
right?
1 sec. I'm just gonna mute Bella real quick. Okay,
Well, I
go
was gonna
ahead.
talk about it.
But all
Well,
right, so that's
okay.
it. If anyone's still listening that didn't want to find out, that's on you, not me. But yeah, so when the first time that the boss got killed, and then just a big server-wide message came up, and it was like, a Sharby of the Grove has been killed by this person, and everyone was like, what? What? Because it's like 3 days into the league or something. Most people had no clue. And just big server-wide message of the first death.
So
I was like, that.
So thankfully I missed that and I didn't know she was the boss. However, to unlock that fight, you have to do your first tier 4 seed. So I did my first tier
Mhm.
4 seed. It was either yesterday or the day before that. And then I spoke to Oshabi, and apparently she's supposed to like walk up to that spot and plant herself. I didn't see
Yeah.
that. What I saw was she started moonwalking and then slowly rotating in place while walking, then rotating back and then disappeared. The reason she did that, there was a storage tank in the way. She literally hit the storage tank and couldn't move, but kept animating, and then just
That's
disappeared.
great.
And I saw the heart of the grove. I'm like, what just happened? And it was only until yesterday when I realized that she wasn't showing up at maps. I'm like, oh wait, where'd she go? Oh, did she? Oh, that's what happened.
Yep.
And I was like, well, I completely missed that, seeing that, and that sucks. But hey,
So does that have like a special animation? Did you see it somewhere else, or like
I might look it up.
I can't
She
wait?
just goes for a walk. It's fine.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
just dives like Minotaur, and that's about it.
Yep.
Just eats herself into the floor.
So that was the most ironic thing to
I
happen.
just thought she was
why that
having a
happened?
nap.
Storage tanks.
So everyone really wants Zana to do that eventually, right? That's the plan.
What?
Zana become the bad
Like
guy.
Zana being the end game boss or something.
I mean, it's
That's
not
the
the
meme.
plan, but it's really obvious, right?
Well, I can't do it
Like,
now because then they'll just be reusing content. Oh wait, that's GGG's
I
motto.
think because
Oh, wait,
of how
me too.
obvious it is, they're
How is
not
it
going
obvious?
to do it.
Because the whole still saying exile and then like slightly closer next league with a knife hold up to your throat, still saying exile. Yeah, she's a
Right?
psychopath.
Like, it's
She's gonna
definitely.
gut you.
If there's anyone who
Like a
spent a lot of
fish.
time inside the Atlas, it's probably Zana.
I mean,
Yep.
it's the
She's
same
after
thing
me the
with the Sin was the obvious evil dude, and like everyone was speculating that Sin might be the Act 10 boss in some shape or form, and then he wasn't. And
Sid
maybe
is
he
the
will.
obvious evil dude. We're evil as well. It's just she's slightly more evil.
Evil is a point of view.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna
I
say that
mean,
real life joke, but geez, man.
I thought it too.
Even Hitler was a great painter.
What?
That's
What does
Wait,
that
is
have to
that
do with
real or did you
anything?
make that up?
He wasn't
What?
a great painter. He just painted.
he's better
Is
than
it-
me,
I
and
was
that's
like,
a
is
great
that real,
painter.
or-
Look it up. You can't paint as good as Hitler.
I mean,
It's
I can't
Yeah,
paint
so-
as good as most
Oh,
So
toddlers.
that's
you're a
a
shit
sentence.
painter,
Oh, that's a
and he's
sentence.
better than you. Hitler is better than you in that context.
Okay.
Hitler is also better than me at rolling the R. Can we talk
According
about
to you, the evil people are fine because we don't understand everyone's evil. So
That's not what I said. I said evil is a point of view.
Yeah,
Don't
exactly.
twist my words.
That's worse. What you're saying is worse. Evil is a point of view.
No.
That's way worse.
No.
Anyway, looking forward to just massacring. Oh wait, we already are massacring everything in the Atlas. We're
It
just
must be
invading
so
alternate reality.
weird.
We're all fucking Thanos. Holy shit.
It must be so weird inside Slippery Jim's head.
Dude,
Yeah.
I'm having the time of my life. That's great.
I'm glad. You're welcome.
It's definitely weird in there.
Dude, if I
Anyway.
could get a one-on-one interview with Chris, face to face, that'll be fun. Good way to get banned. No, yeah, let's do
That's
it.
a good way. That's a good way to make sure you never have another one.
That's okay. One really good one's good enough for me.
Did you write that down? Did we blacklist Slippery Jim from appearing on any eventual dev episodes?
I don't need a dev episode. That's fine. I'll wait for the real thing, Chris. I'm coming.
He wants to do it in.
Oh, you
person.
don't want to do it like a podcast or like a YouTube video. You
Nah,
just want to
dude,
have
no.
that. You just want to
He
have
wants
that.
to do
way I
it where
can-
he can't just hang up.
No, I can fully,
A one-on-one conversation.
experience the awkward silences face to face. That's what I strive for. With this, it's like there's a bit of latency there. Who knows what it could have been?
Next XLCon, find a way to sit
Next
down.
XLCon. 1-to-1. Let's do it.
Okay, so I think we went through about 2 points on our topic list, and then we went in a wild circle. And the question
Sounds normal.
sounds like 100% like your average Slippery Jim episode. But
An attack. I got buffed.
I think we closed the circle by going back to, did you kill the harvest boss? How did you like the progression towards it? Because SuitSizeSmall talked a little bit about the boss. What do we think about the progression? Did you guys expect the boss to be killed within 2 days, like Waggle did it, the absolute madman? Or did you, like, now that you guys also know the progression towards the boss, do you think it's realistic to kill it in 2 days? Or do you think that, what do you think GGG planned for the boss? I'm pretty sure
kills.
GGG didn't want the boss to be killed within 2 days, right?
100 maps seems like a lot for a charge, especially if you're farming. Did you just fall off your chair? Especially if you're farming like 100 of them. That's like 10,000 red maps. No one's good enough to do that. Yeah, 2 days seems perfectly fine for races. What do you expect?
We didn't everyone expect it to be done in like 2 or 3 days at most?
Yeah.
Because there was a laptop reward for the first person to do it in solo self-found hardcore, and the thing was over in like a week. So
Yeah,
even
the
GGG
raffle
knew it
was
wasn't
like
gonna take
after a
more than a
week.
week.
Yeah, no.
So it wasn't meant to be like a proper endgame boss. So far, I've fought it twice on Dominating Blow, and I don't know what any of the mechanics are, because she never hurt me, never managed to get through my energy shield, which is only about 1,000, and died in like 15, 20 seconds. A wall happened in the middle, and I had to kill it, I think.
Oh.
That's all I've got.
Mechanic each time you fight it? Like, is it
I
just
don't
one?
know. I
A lot of
couldn't
people
tell
seem
what
to be having
mechanics.
different experiences.
What mechanics?
I have no idea. I was going to ask, would you rather a laptop race for Delve, where the first person to find an RNG boss wins, basically? Or would you rather something deterministic that's like, this, 100 red maps, and then you find it? Are you enjoying the fact that it's deterministic, or would you rather be like, I've farmed
Is it
10,000
deterministic?
hours of Delve? It is deterministic.
Yeah.
Aren't it seed drops RNGs?
No, I mean, yeah, but it's
You
an
eventually you
eventuality
get
compared
them,
to
but-
Delve, which
Yeah.
is like, who knows, compared to Cortex.
Yeah, but if
which
you
is
delve an
something-
infinite amount of time, you eventually you will get an all.
Not really.
Right.
That's like
No,
saying digging
okay,
at the beach
though.
to find coins. You need an actual fucking metal detector, you idiot. Eventually, you'll
right,
find
like-
one.
Like this, it's not really RNG to get to the boss. And I can explain
league,
that
no.
because it's not really. Because yes, it's RNG, like what
It's
seeds
RNG
drop
how
and
fast
many
you get there.
to an amount, but you always get some seeds. And if you do high tier maps, you always get 20 to 40 seeds per map.
If you're Balor and you're only planting 9 seeds a map, then it's going to take you a while to get there. But if you've got
Why-
a normal
Per
farm
plot.
and you can plant like 100, you're going to get there so quick. And then
No,
you're gonna do 100 maps.
wait. Balor is not only planting 9 seeds per map.
I'm
That's
planting
great.
literally.
He's
100
buying
seeds per
100,
map.
so
I
why
have
would he
to-
only plant
no.
9? Then he would
Because
have
you
like a
can have
surplus
plant
of like
hundreds.
91 seeds per map. And then
How
like
many
after
T3
10
seeds
maps,
can you plant, Bella? 9 times 4?
15.
Oh, less. Okay, 15 a map then.
that's not 9 times 4.
I thought it was 9 times 4 because I assumed he could plant 4 in each of his plots, and he's probably got 9 plots. But no.
Oh
you
wait,
can plant
tier
15.
3s?
Yeah, T3s.
No, you're right. That's tier 4s. I can only do 9. I can only do 15 tier 4s at once.
Okay.
4
So,
times
like-
that for tier 3s.
Okay, 45. That's pretty good. So, yeah, it's fine.
Not that I ever have that many tier 3s.
Yeah. Or that, would your farms be able to sustain that many? I'm just saying, like, the fact
No.
that it's deterministic. Yeah, you need a bunch more storage, which you hate because you're a minimalist.
Yeah,
But
no.
It's good, right? I mean, it's good. It's good because it's a set amount, but it's still a shit ton. So it's like anyone who's coming and going, oh, they're making the game casual because they're making it deterministic to get the boss. You still have to do a bajillion things to get it.
And
Whereas, like, you
I
know,
haven't
just-
heard
you're still
anyone making
rolling on
that
the
point.
You're not
No, yeah.
guaranteed a boss drop,
no one's
right?
making
Like
that
it's
point.
not.
I'm just saying, how do
Yeah.
you feel about the fact that it's deterministic instead of RNG? Is a good thing, right?
Yeah,
I enjoy a lot more than trying to find all.
Yeah, exactly. Did anyone actually find all in Delve League? I didn't.
Yeah, I killed like 4.
Well, fuck you. Fuck all of you.
Like all of it. Hmm.
Ugh. Oh, it's good. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's somewhere in between. It's definitely more like a step-by-step kind of. I mean, every step towards the boss will happen eventually. It's smaller RNG steps, I guess. It's like finding a 6-link bow versus finding a set of Imperial Legacy, right? It's just much more likely that you'll complete a 6-link via the Imperial Legacy because it's just such a high set. and you
Well,
need
it's
22 of them.
guaranteed, right? Like you can do that for sure. You can do that every league. You can always farm that set, even though it's technically RNG.
Well, it's technically RNG.
But
It's
because
not
it's-
guaranteed, but it's because such a.
But
yeah.
it is guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
It
you
is
could
though.
still farm
Well,
100 maps and not get a single card, technically.
But it's an eventuality. That's why I
won't.
love div cards.
Yeah,
so
you
much.
won't know, but it would be possible.
An effective pity timer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the effective way to get a mirror is farm hologram masters. Because you'll eventually get a full set of the div card.
Oh god. Oh, that
Don't worry,
sounds
it'll
horrible.
only take how many guardians have they added? It'll only take literally only less than 2,000 maps to get a mirror. It's just there's not that many maps, so you don't get one.
There is that many maps.
What? How is there not that many maps?
It's just that no one sells them
No
because
one sells them. Because everyone's pricks.
Yeah.
Because trading is garbage. You know what'd be
And, like-
you know what'd be good if it was deterministic trading? I wouldn't mind that. You know, an actual I'm not gonna derail that.
If you
but-
message enough people, you'll eventually get the item that you want to buy.
Yeah, I'll get one of them. I messaged 200 people to get 3 items. Wow. What a great experience this game is. It's fine. What's on your list? What else do you want to talk about? Seeds? Steeds?
well, I mean, it's.
Horses?
I guess we can directly transition. Wait, do I have my mic muted?
No,
No, I don't.
maybe.
I mean, not for us.
Not for you, but I mute my mic sometimes for the stream when I'm typing because I don't care about you guys' ears, but.
Craft versus pre-buff.
No.
I don't know what maps will.
No, I just don't have 2 mute buttons, and it's too confusing. If you do 2 mutes, then if you get 1 mute and you have the other one, and it's you lose the overview. I already forget the mute status on 1. It's terrible. But what did I want to say? It's like along the same lines, like where the boss is sort of like a mix of. I don't want to use the word deterministic because it's not really a deterministic boss, but it's like a boss that you'll get to eventually. And the same way the crafting in this league works,
The
like
boss is
where it's like not
deterministic.
complete gambling anymore, but it's like stepwise gambling, and you don't have this huge loss where you break an item by exalting something wrong or something
Well,
like
you
that.
do if you're Balor.
Oh god.
'Cause I saw that clip. That was great. it's you know how people like were like, wow, we love incubators because it's like we can finally like we can go, oh, I just want incubators full of time worms and I get all garbage or something. And then that crowd came out, they were like, oh, it's just loot drops, but they're delayed. That's what this boss is. It's just a boss encounter, but it's delayed. So people are like, wow, it's deterministic. It's not really. You complete the RNG step of getting the seed, and then you click a thing. It's like, please wait 200 maps or 100 maps. Please wait 100 maps. It's a giant incubator in a garden, and people are like, oh my god, praise, GG, you've done it. And no, it's great. I'm looking forward to
Right,
it.
but that's not the.
It's amazing.
But that's not the deterministic part. That's the
What is
wait
it?
part. The deterministic part is what we were just saying before. Seeds
Must
are
be-
so plentiful
Yeah.
that even though they're technically RNG, you are pretty much guaranteed to eventually get up there. Right? Like you're
Even
not.
if you suck. Yeah.
Yeah, like you just are going to get a tier 4 seed. The only way you don't end up with the boss is if you quit the league early, or your character's so shit you can't kill the tier 4 seed.
Mm-hmm.
Or
That
maybe
would do it,
maybe
right?
You decide not to plant tier 3 through 4s or 2 through 4s.
Yep.
Or-
But that's like saying I never found an all boss because I didn't like delve, so I didn't go into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Like,
like
I didn't get
that
Sears
doesn't
'cause
matter.
it's like I didn't spawn Sears because I did every other region and not the ones where the conquerors were.
Yeah.
How easy is this league compared to what you thought it would be? I thought this league was going to be like 4 times harder than what it was, both in making the garden, planting stuff, harvesting, and all that crap. Like in every aspect, it has been easier than I thought it would be.
Thought there would be more rippy things.
I don't mean that. I mean, well, sure.
No, seriously. I mean, look at like other players. Like, no one died this league. Quinn actually beat Awakener level 8 a couple of days ago, and that's only because he's actually able to acquire gear and he doesn't die randomly to like delirium or stuff like that, right?
Well, I laughed because I think it was like 10 minutes before I logged out of PoE to get ready for a podcast. I died at one of the collectors because of on-death explosions.
Oh yeah, but that
Yep.
happens because of complacency, right? You know that will happen with the blue seeds that leave that thing, right?
Yeah, I just was in the mindset of like this was a plot I just needed to drop down. I wanted to maybe roll like some lightning modifiers on a wand. So let me just go to the
Yeah.
bench, and I'm dead.
Oh, okay. So right, everyone knows that you can open the bench, open the seed cache from anywhere in your farm, right?
Mm-hmm.
But here's something that every time we tell people, it blows their fucking minds.
Oh, I know. What this
If
is
you
gonna be.
open a crafting bench,
Mm-hmm.
like a hoity-toity station or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
and you go to your stash from it, like so you can see what's in your stash, and you go to the page where you're holding your other crafting benches, and you find the craft you want, and you right-click it in your stash, you can just place it on the ground. From there,
What?
you don't have to go back and
Oh,
find them.
that sounds so nice.
I did not know that, but that's like
You just
super.
straight up place them. This
It sounds
also
fake,
works
but you
for
get used to it.
buds, like all the seeds that are in your dump tab, or buds that grant life force or whatever. You can just plant them from
From
there.
your stash.
Also,
but you can't click them
when-
into your inventory.
No, but you can pick them up off the floor once they're on the floor, and then they're in your
Oh,
inventory.
you can drop them on the floor. Oh, you're now right.
Yeah.
No, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You can just plant them where you
also-
stand, basically, and then pick them up and bring them to the field.
Yeah. Also, when you're building your farm or moving anything, and you've got like the image of it on your cursor, if you hold shift and left click, you'll just walk around and not drop it. Only happens in the farm. Why doesn't that happen in a hideout making? I don't know, but it happens in the farm. So you can
Right.
walk around with items like equipped,
On your cursor.
like out ready to be planted.
That's
I'm gonna
amazing.
test something I just thought of. I'm gonna delete an item real quick by accident.
Uh-oh.
You keep going. What shall I delete? Let's delete a chaos.
Yeah.
YOLO.
I guess somewhat related to being able to, I guess, do stuff from your stash.
Mhm.
Every time I always get annoyed that I can't identify or just simply scour something from that crafting tab. From the crafting
Yeah.
bench.
Oh, I'd love to be able to identify things from there.
Like
I
those
think-
are like the only two currencies I want to be able to use. Everything else I don't care about. As long as, but if I can identify or scour something, I'd be fine.
Yeah. The is it one? Hang on. You can so you can put something in a bench, like a
I'm testing
piece
that
of
right
gear.
now. Sorry, go ahead. What do you finish your
Are
thought?
you
I'm
doing
doing it.
exactly what
I'm-
I'm thinking?
I'm doing it right now. It doesn't work. Oh, bummer. It teleports the item to the bench in your one. I was thinking put an item in a bench, put that bench in your stash tab, go to your farm,
Yeah,
pull that
That's
stash
what I
tab,
was
get
just
the
thinking.
item.
Yeah.
You go to your
Yeah,
farm,
that's
you
exactly
open
what
your
I was
bench
thinking.
on the floor. As soon as you started talking, I'm like, I wonder. As soon as you open the bench in your garden that's like empty, it's just prop bench or whatever, your item's just
But it's
sitting there
actually
waiting.
one bench, right? So
Yeah.
the same item would be in every bench you visit.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be OP if you could store items on the benches.
son.
Think
Oh,
of all the
but-
free stash space that people could be making.
Think of all the each stash slot only costs 1,800 juice. Everyone except
Yeah,
Balor
but
could
it's
get them.
in-game currency. You don't have to actually RMT the pay-to-win tabs.
So
We're
you'd
now
only have to
introducing
buy
itemized items for you.
you'd only have to buy 144 horticrafting
Horde
stations to have a normal
stations,
stash tab.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
easy for those
But then you
Russian
need a
grinding
stash tab.
bots.
You need a stash tab to put them all in, and they take up one slot. So your entire idea is void.
Well, no, because you could put 4 and 6 slot items in them.
Oh yeah, good point, dude. Fucking jeweler
What,
recipe.
what you would need then
I
would
can't
be
portal
the
out of this map.
what
to
you'd need
sell all
then
these
would be an
jewelers.
indexer to remember what items were inside each station. That would be terrible. That would
Sounds
be
almost as
absolutely
efficient
horrible.
as multi-boxing. But those are all really handy tips that you guys gave out there, and like really helpful information. But I think the original question was something along the lines, or at least what I think we want to talk about before we move on into the next topic is: do you find yourself, let's say, more engaged for longer with crafting your items? Is the crafting process? Do you engage more with the crafting on a single item for a longer time, is what I'm trying to say, rather than just crafting an item and it's done and you put it on? Suit size?
Yeah.
Well,
mean-
this is a weird experience for me because this is the first time I've actually intentionally crafted every single item on characters. Before Harvest, I kind of would just buy whatever I could buy because it felt more effective to just, rather than X slam this item for the chance of it being usable, just go use that X somewhere to get something that's actually usable. But now I'm like,
Yeah.
nah, maybe I can throw this at the bench a couple times, get some nice base stats, then alt dog it till it's good. And pretty much, I made a Poison BV character, and the only thing I bought on that character were the required uniques and one ring, and I crafted everything else. So I crafted like a belt, a pair of tailwind boots, and a plus curse, explodey, spell crit, tier 1 life, tier 1 res body armor.
It's amazing the kind of gear that people are linking me, and I'm looking at now and going, yeah, that's all right, but you could fix that life up, and there's
Yeah.
like room. There's room on there. You could get rid of.
That previously
crafting mod
like
and-
30x item that you're now like, oh no,
Yeah, like any other
you
league.
could have like rolled remove fizz,
Yeah,
add fizz, and you've made a beast jewel.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to make an ice crash character, and I just made an 850 PDPS crit staff. And I'm just looking at this. I'm like, huh?
You're like, but
I
it
would
could be better.
Yeah, it could be better because I have I made a mistake and I fractured it. That was a bad idea, but
Oh.
it locked in tyrannical, which was nice. But I have like tier 2 fizz, flaring, tier 2 hybrid, and then tier 2 attack speed, and I think the tier 2 attack speed, tier 1 crit multi, and then bench crafted crit chance quality.
Crit chance quality craft, yeah.
Yeah, so it's 850, but my guildmate, who did a very similar crafting process, has a 903 staff. And it's just
And
like,
now you're like, well,
I saw
I
that
want this
weapon,
one to
I
be
saw
better
my
now.
weapon, And I look, I just think about the people in standard who are like, so my 700 PPPS axe, I had an eternal orb so many times.
Is now worthless.
Yeah, it's like, huh.
Would you want them to like keep all of the harvest crafting in and then destroy like 95% of like rare item drops? Because like it used to be like, oh, pick up everything, ID everything, get something kind of okay, kind of craft it, and that was everyone's crafting in general. It was 90% of the players crafting. Now 90% of the players are actually making shit they can use relatively easily. Like, think of Harvest League. All leagues are broken to begin with, and then they nerf them when they implement it. So crafting will get harder, like by a factor of 5 or something like that, but it will still be just as powerful. If they make it harder by a factor of 5, but then destroy loot drops, would you like that or would you dislike that?
So you leave in harvest, but it takes you ages to get that
Well,
level 86 weapon base to craft.
yeah. Well, no. Oh, yeah. I guess well, like influence stuff is like on a separate table, isn't it? Anyway, because it shows up permanently highlighted, and you can't really hide it. I'm just assuming game design. I mean, like when you hold Alt and your game crashes. Get rid of that.
Yeah,
Destroy.
I feel like they should. I feel like that should have
influence.
happened a long time ago.
I'm done. Go ahead.
Sorry.
You do.
Sorry. Yeah, I feel like whenever they introduce loot filters, that should have happened. Because the reason we have loot filters is because if you turn it off and you do certain maps, you can't see the floor or your character or anything on the screen because it's all cluttered with so many nameplates. And it's like, you could have called the amount of things that this dropped by like half, and it'd still be too much.
Yeah.
Like I remember playing it was Breach for the first time, back when Breach was introduced, and by the end of that, because I was super lazy and had a semi-strict loot filter, not a uber strict loot filter, I had to partway through the Breach had to hit Z to turn off all nameplates, or else I couldn't move because I keep clicking on items.
Yeah, trying to walk around, you pick stuff up instead.
Yeah, it's like all of it was garbage. All of it was garbage, but it just too much stuff dropped, and it's like none of this is actually like good.
Right, so here's the thing with garden crafting. I don't think it should get added to the base game. However,
You don't.
I think it on its own is a way better crafting system. It didn't add any upper power to like the top 0.1% of people who were already having disgusting items. They just make those easier, but they didn't get any more powerful. It greatly raised the floor.
And the
so
average.
That most people are doing significantly better and able to craft. And I love that. So I would like the game to have a crafting system like the one we've got now. I think it's more appropriate. It's better. It doesn't raise the ceiling. It only helps. Like the closer you get to the 0.1%, the less extra power you've gotten out of this. Right? Like the further back you were, the better. You got helped a lot.
Yeah.
However, the game in its current state is not set for people to have items as powerful as we're making. Every average Joe Blow in white maps can make items so powerful they can trivialize most of the game with them once they learn how to craft. Right?
This is like a never-ending cycle.
So what I want, or what I'm hoping is that the response to crafting like this is so good that it becomes the main, whether it's garden crafting specifically or not, the crafting part of it, the way that the crafting works. I really hope that becomes a core part of PoE 2, and then the game is designed around that, rather than implementing that crafting system we're using this league, which is fantastic, into a game that's not ready for it. Like PoE as a base game isn't ready for us to have items this good all the time at the drop of a hat. Like they're too strong. But the crafting system is way better, and I want it. So I'm hoping it makes it into PoE 2 as the way people craft, and then the game balanced accordingly.
I'd agree with that. I absolutely love it. It's mostly the target and nulls have been doing it for me. This thing is like, I really don't like this thing on this mod. Get rid of it. Let's get rid of it off that item. Don't need it anymore. and now it opens me up to like, oh, now I can put something else on if I want to.
Yeah.
And I get, you know, now that I think about it, this was something that I feel like people always suggested, and now we can kind of do it, and that is adding a currency that changes the tiers of a mod. Well, you can do that now with every moves. Yeah,
but you
instead of
can't
having
do it with every mod because not every mod is being served by harvest
don't have
crafting. So you can do
minion or
you can do
mana
it with
tags.
specific ones, but then they
It's
also
almost
have
like they
other
wanted
mods
to put
like
it in, but they
What?
balanced it. It's almost like they're doing exactly what Suit said, as in they took that idea and then they balanced it to make it slightly not broken.
Oh no, it's the most broken thing we've ever.
Oh,
had.
it still is,
it's
but I mean,
it's
like
still
they've
broken, but
you specifically can't do that with Elder mods or something unless it's got like a fucking Elder Life mod or something like that.
You can make your entire gear in Path of Building and then just create that gear. You can. It's like importing to Path of Building, but the other way around. You build in Path of Building and then you just import that gear into the game.
I can totally see
this.
how in Trade League it's incredibly unlimited. And like you can just really like just come up with an item and do it. Like there's very, very few things that you can't do because of mod restrictions. Right?
So you want this crafting without any of the harvest mechanics?
Well, definitely I don't want the garden to be core. Let me quickly elaborate my
there's more
thoughts.
and more
I agree with the
shit.
sentiment of the crafting being more interesting. I've always liked the crafting in Last Epoch, which is another ARPG, where you can add mods from other items that you disassembled, kind of, and there's a chance that the item bricks while you add the mods. But it's a little bit more targeted, and there's more steps involved in making an item. Like you just keep upgrading it over a longer period of time. Whereas in PoE in the past, I've always felt like, oh, I find a good item. Now maybe I do like I annul something, I annul but that's always super gamble. I could exalt stamp something, that's always super gamble, unless you exclude certain mods with, and even then it's super gamble. And most of the time it's like 2 or 3 steps and then the item is done, unless it's like early in the league when I find a really good base, and then early on I only opt to craft on life and wear it, and then later on when I get multi-mod or when I get the council crafts, then I take off the crafted mod, I add multi-mod and finish the item, but then it's always sort of finished. And now I have certain pieces of gear that I've been upgrading, like basically since I entered maps, that I've just been crafting around on, where I've gambled away ES modifiers, like remove defense modifiers, and trying to get higher ES, where I've improved the resistances, and it's just an ongoing process of making the items better and more interesting. And I don't know, it keeps me in there for longer, and that's what I really like. I don't think that the gardening mini game is something that I permanently want in Path of Exile, but the crafting system or the underlying principle of being able to target annul, target exalt, target reroll and stuff like that would be cool to have in a different shape or form in the game. Like give us access through other mechanics, or I don't know. They find a great way to.
Bestiary and like Delve were like, Bestiary was like they would like the entire crafting mechanics you get from Harvest. It feels like they've had everything on a list and they've wanted to try it all at once. Like Delve was like targeted chaos spamming basically, right? And Bestiary was like, now you can like save a magic base. This is like, we've got all these things we want to try and we're running out of time before we don't have enough leagues. We have to do 20 leagues to try all these ideas. Let's just throw them all into fucking Harvest, tie it behind a game mechanic, and see which ones the players use and like. And if you just keep being super vocal about you really enjoying this crafting, just like the entire way of doing it, like everything they're doing, apart from like whatever one thing you hate, fuck GGG, but like Reddit logic. But if you just be real vocal and say you really enjoy all of this, and like whatever Chris said or something, they're not really going to plan on keeping the crafting around. Like it was a experimental league more than anything, right? There's probably no chance of it going core. Like 95%, none of this is going core, right? But if you just be super vocal that you really love all of this crafting shit, they'll probably like add it in some way or another, right? Like this way of crafting, or unpopular, actually no, super popular opinion, destroy Betrayal. Get rid of Veiled. Make Betrayal guys drop seeds instead, and just implement harvesting. I want that.
unveiling is literally the worst part of every single league I ever do. It's not fun.
And this is still not fun, but the crafting's fun. It's really weird that the gameplay it's fun for some people, the planning and all that stuff, but then most people are just copying builds like Balor off Reddit. But the crafting is fun. What happened? How did this happen? Everyone's loving it.
Crafting's always been fun for the people who understood it.
Yeah, but now
this
everyone
league has
understands
just got way more people into crafting because the barrier of entry became way, way lower. Especially
Crafting
once they
became-
added mod tags in game.
Oh,
Barrier
yeah.
of
You just
entry to
do-
crafting is so
you can
much
do
lower than before.
one
That's
map and
such
you
a
can
good
craft.
addition, dude. I wanted that before this league already, and now this league has brought it so much in the forefront that they couldn't just not do it. They had to do it.
Yeah,
Right?
like
But now you want like much more quality of life, right? You know how like you open the crafting thing and it highlights if it's a remove or highlights if it's a reforge.
That's
just the
great as
specific
well.
Highlights. Give me
Yeah.
that, except when I press tab at a map and it highlights reflect, so Ziz may never die again. Or it highlights specific. So you got a wall of text, and all you
Well,
really
you
see
can
is
you can
reflect
still put your
element.
maps into a tab and just enter reflect, and then you'll find the reflect maps, and you can just destroy
Yeah.
them or re-roll them. But what I
The
wanted to say
technology
is,
suddenly there.
interestingly, you have on rare items, it shows you what's a defense mod, what's a life mod, what's a attack mod, and stuff like that. It does not on uniques. But the system is already there for uniques because you can put quality on uniques, right? Like on my baited breath, it tells me which of the modifiers are defense modifiers because those are increased by the defense quality from the catalyst, but it doesn't say unique mod defense, it just says unique mod. So that's definitely something that they still need to add, in my opinion, so that you know beforehand what a catalyst will do on a
Or
that you know what a catalyst will do on a given
you
item.
You use a single catalyst and you press Alt and you go, well, that one didn't work. Maybe I'll just try another one, and it wastes.
Yeah,
you
no,
waste, like,
that works.
max 8.
Sure.
I had that with the Presence of Joyula, where I had no idea that you could increase the amount of life you convert to ES.
Yeah, that's super OP. I was
You know, it's
so
like I had no idea that
unexpected.
Catalyst would work with that because I didn't realize like, oh, that technically is I think it's a life mod in Ministers, right?
I think
it's a
so,
life
yes.
and a defense you can use either, I think. Literally
There
got
you go.
both tags, you can just use either one.
Yeah.
Then it just becomes 24.
Yeah, I wish I knew his defense because that probably would have been cheaper.
It's a lot cheaper.
Yeah, wish I knew that like a league or two ago.
Yeah, so I mean that would be cool to just, you can data mine that or you can ask other people, but there's no reason it shouldn't be like openly visible in game.
Yeah, and it's pretty useful. But like, am I the only one that really enjoys the harvest, like the actual league mechanic outside of crafting?
I enjoy it. I just don't think it would be a great addition to Path of Exile as a core
It isn't
mechanic.
much, though, is it?
I mean,
Like,
the only reason I haven't pulled up my garden again to rebuild the entire thing in the last 2 days is that I'm scared that Stream might be sick of it because I've pulled up my garden like 4 times and rebuilt it, but I want to and I'm excited to. I don't know if that would last forever or not. Like if they added it to the base game and I had to do it over and over again every league.
I think then they'd have to add like a
I don't
functionality
know.
where you can just import it. It's just there's way too much
Oh.
tedious setup time required in order to benefit from it. If you compare it to something like Betrayal or Delve, stuff like that, where there's already some setup time for Delve, for example. You have to do the early shadow
Betrayal takes
delves.
far longer than the farm to set up.
Yeah, but Betrayal, you don't need to have a setup board in order to get your first railed items, in order to get your first, progress towards the thing, right? And technically, in the garden, you have to put a whole lot of time in order to grow your first not a whole lot of time for the first seeds to grow. I don't know. It's just, I can't objectively say that it doesn't fit. I just personally don't think it would be great in the game if every league I'd have a garden.
Yeah.
I could see it as being an additional annoyance because now there's another thing you have to manage in between maps or during maps, right? Because
it's
Yeah.
another way of
check on
wanting
your
to slow it
incursion, check on
down.
your soul fight,
Yeah.
make sure you have your tabs cleared out, check on whatever, or now you have a garden to worry about. Or who's cleared out their menagerie since the beginning of the league?
I was just
Oh,
thinking,
I actually
literally
did it.
never visit it.
give
I
us
actually did
Bestiary
it.
2.0, but we build a zoo instead.
Legitimate, like yesterday during my stream, I was talking about because I did one of those convert a bestiary item into a lure, And for those who didn't know, the crab lure can give you the imprint beast, so that's nice.
Nice.
Yeah, because it spawns crab mobs, and the imprint beast is a Krayshik chimeral, and I just had one spawn on my map. And so I got the beast. I opened up my bestiary crafting recipes, and I saw I had a 6-link. I didn't know it was there because I just forgot to check my menagerie. And
I have no idea what I've got.
Yeah, I was worried that I was overriding my beasts because I looked at so I going into my bow craft, I farmed a porcupine set for the bow, for the caustic arrow and stuff. I would just wanted to check what kind of beast crafts do I have? Do I have add a prefix, remove a suffix, or do I have the imprint maybe? I just wanted to see, so I have an overview of what's available. And I looked in my list, and literally every single category of beasts had like the full 18 out of 18 or whatever they each have. And I was like, fuck, this thing is entirely stuffed. And I did like an hour of random beast crafts. That was fun.
So I think, and I know some people are going to get upset when they hear that, but I think beasts could just go. They don't actually add anything, and literally all of us feel no weight or excitement about beasts. We have to be reminded or remember to go and check. Now, there are things we want: suffix to prefix, prefix to suffix, imprints, things like that. There are like there's some specific the flasks, just being able to like add a suffix to flask and whatnot. And there are things, outcomes we want from that we wouldn't want to lose. But beasts, especially as a master, just feel, I don't know, weightless.
So you would like to have Einhar replaced with Oshabi, basically what you're saying.
I think I would love that.
I don't think I would oppose that, but they'd still have to change the garden mechanic for it to be way less setup. Like maybe have Oshabi build the garden for you, or like I don't know, something.
I'm kind of sitting here so I don't look for if Harvest makes it into the game, I don't look forward to 10% encounter rate. That would have to change significantly.
Oh Lord.
If
it's going to be a 10% encounter rate, it better drop me 150 goddamn seeds at once.
Yeah.
Individually.
Look, they're already in the stacks. We don't need to go backwards.
Like that shit, just like full on.
So that okay. Well, I need to talk about something later related to lab and that.
Oh.
Right. I need to go to the bathroom real quick. I'll be back in a second. But go on.
Wait. So I personally enjoy Einhar. I think the problem with Einhar is pretty much the same problem that we earlier talked about real quickly, and that's the general item clutter in Path of Exile. There's just too much meaningless loot that you will either ignore or just pick up in order to vendor for the shards. And in the same way, I think Einhar needs a declutter. Like, I think if beasts were actually something special, that you find a beast, and like most of the times it would be something that you'd be excited about, and maybe you get fewer beasts per map, you get fewer Einhar missions in total, but then you don't get that many bad uniques, you don't get that many like unnecessary crafts, like create like 4 jeweler orbs of fusing, but like every time you get a beast, it's sort of every time you get a beast, it's a feast. No, it's a celebration.
Make it how it used to be in Bestiary League, where it was just beasts were basically like div cards, as in if you wanted a specific beast, you go to a specific map and you grind for it.
Oh yeah, I completely hate the fact that they removed that.
Now it's just an RNG. It's just random again, and so you don't give a shit about any of your beasts because you just get them wherever they pop up, and every 3 days or every 2 weeks you check your bestiary and you're like, oh, I've got a 6-link. Holy shit, I didn't know that. Whereas if you wanted a 6-link base, you could go, I need to go to Chateau T14s. I've only got 7 of them. That's okay. I'll farm them anyway and hope I get a beast.
I'm imagining that situation with those lures I spoke about. If there was deterministic beasts in certain maps, just take that crab lure, go to the chimeral map, and then just farm imprint beasts. There you go. That'd be an interesting thing to do.
How many mechanics could we how many league mechanics could we destroy and turn into seeds? Like Bestiary, you could just turn all that into seeds. I mean, not law. Who gives a shit about laws? Just theoretically, Bestiary is just crafting.
The crafts
Fossils
put
are
them
just
into
crafting.
seeds.
Alva isn't. I mean, apart from Alva specific crafts, get me some top tier some vowed seeds. Boom, Alva
Yeah,
crafts.
I was about to say that. What if we could just corrupt seeds and that would give us the temple mods?
Vow crafts.
Yeah, like
There's
lightning-
definitely a
corrupt the
lot more
lightning seed.
crossover potential in this league, like with other leagues. Yeah, I didn't think about that. That sounds cool. Getting like different types of seeds from the temple, getting seeds from
Oh,
other masters.
it's like if you could corrupt a reforged life and it just reforges the temple life mods with a hybrid. And stick that on a ring.
You could go to lab, enchant your seeds, and then you can have like a deterministic pick from 3 when a crafting option comes up. Which enchant do you want? And they're all garbage because it's Labyrinth.
Yeah, let's say you still get totem life.
Yep.
Totem life's great for righteous fire totems too. I noticed that with the I guess you guys noticed that as well, that you can normal jewels, Cobalt, Viridian, and Crimson are super easy to craft now with the harvest, right? Like you can either like do lucky defense, lucky life. But with the life ones, you get a lot of totem life. So I was thinking about like maybe making a righteous fire totem build again, because
I don't know if you can scale that much enough HP on a totem versus a regular character for that to be big.
yeah, I mean, it used to be a thing. I just don't know how it is now. Like it used to be definitely a build because of chieftains. Your totems are immune to fire damage because they wouldn't degen down, right? But yeah, also I think that the fact that righteous fire has partially flat damage now may help massively for the totems because they don't get that much life. But I haven't done the math. I'm not a pro in that build. I don't know how good RF totems are.
I keep forgetting the RF got that change.
Yeah.
I forgot that actually has some flat to it now.
Well,
It's been a very long time since I played RF, man.
I have a
But
perfect
yeah.
jewel for it if you want it.
do you?
Nah, it's only 3
Well,
prop. It's actually
so-
quite garbage.
Funnily enough, I feel like crafting the regular base jewels, crafting it with a life mod and some stuff, that's totally fine. Because I'm playing Ice Crash, I needed to get a bunch of crit multi on the jewels. It was a nightmare to do that because there's so
Almost
many
like
different
it's
crit
melee
multi.
league.
Oh yeah, I can see
Uh-huh.
that.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's so
yeah.
many crit multis and there's so many different melee types. So it's just I ended up just buying that one because like I can't roll crits on this.
And you're like
I'm gonna
trying to
keep getting
spam
normal.
like cold jewels specifically, and it keeps going cold res, hybrid cold res on your jewels, and you're just like, I'm just gonna die.
I
Fizz
put in
doesn't
I
have
did like
physical resistance.
I put in lucky crit and I got 3 one-handed or like 2 one-handed mods and and then a global mod. I'm like,
Okay.
well, I can't use this from a two-hander.
Thanks for the heads up. I'm not gonna try and craft crit jewels if I make a crit
Yeah,
build.
don't do that.
But-
Really, don't do that.
But the defense mods is really pog. I have
Oh, yeah.
so many good ES jewels, and then the fact that you could put implicits onto them, you can actually, one of the implicits you can get is increased ES recharge rate, and that's so good because it's also an explicit that you can get. You can get so much recharge rate now.
I'm never using that implicit one again.
I should try it.
Well, technically, last time you thought you were using it,
Didn't
you
use it
weren't
then
using it either. So you started early. Oh damn! Yeah, no, that was
For anyone who missed that on any, could be listening. I took my Val Timeless jewel out of my tree to add an implicit to it in the garden, except that that's not what it said. It didn't say add an implicit. It said re-roll a jewel into another jewel, and it became like, I don't know, a molten strike jewel or something.
Yeah, it became
And I
absolute
was
crap.
like,
And the best
my
thing is that,
timeless jewel.
but
No.
GFL edited that clip in after the clip where you ridiculed Steel Mage for gambling away or thinking that he gambled away his 4 counts hard cards and actually turned them into random crap cards. That was such a good clip.
It was such. Look, I have to. That jewel had damage on every single minor travel node that I was using. It was just like area damage, spell damage, elemental damage, area damage, and it was like fucking perfect. And then since then, I can't get another jewel anywhere near as good. My build lost like 15% of its damage because of that.
God.
Yeah.
Well, just look up, like, it's in the clip which seat number it is. Just find the seat number again. Just find it, dude.
Oh God.
Yeah, just find it. No, I mean, but you're in Trade League. It's like not 100% excluded that someone else has that jewel. Maybe even without knowing how good it is, because they maybe didn't check it in the spot that you were using it on. So maybe you can find it again. It's just
I've had a whoop up since 20 minutes after that for the exact number. They don't exist.
damn.
On the subject of jewel crafting, I will say Harvest is very nice for crafting cluster jewels, because alt spamming cluster
yeah.
jewels is ass. It sucks.
I do
Even
not
after
look
patch,
forward
it
to
sucks.
clusters next league.
Yeah, it is. It
I don't know how I'm going to make my
But
clusters
better
next
than they
league.
were with the change, the enchanted jewel sockets or whatever.
That's
Yeah,
that was a fantastic change, but trying to craft them still is pretty annoying, because if I were in Delirium, I felt like when I was out spamming them, I would see notables and then I would like Og or Regal the passives. It's backwards now. I feel like I'm
Yeah.
alting the small passives, and then Ogging Regaling the notables, and that's not good. It got to the point where to make my BV poison character, I needed 2 larges, 4 mediums, and 4 smalls. I bought the jewels to craft in Quarry, because I could run Quarry fast with my lab runner, and then like 500 seeds later, I had the right jewels.
Yeah, but that's a separate problem. Quarry farming shouldn't exist in any league ever.
I'm actually super surprised that it's a thing in this league again. That they
It only works with the level items.
I
It only
tried.
works with the level items, but certain
Oh,
cluster
but up
jewels
to
don't need that
item
level.
level 75. That's,
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty
And
high.
it gets better because if you've got like let's say you want an explodey chest with I don't know, something on it else, whatever else other thing you want, right?
Mm-hmm.
You find one mod that works on an item level 75. Then you get your item level 85 explode chest. You awaken an orb, slam it into a level 75 base. It forces the mod on, and then you quarry farm to craft the rest of it.
Oh,
And
you know,
then
I
you're
didn't
done.
actually consider the fact that you could. I don't know why I didn't think about the fact that you can awaken her or the high level mod into a level of item.
Yep.
Forgot
You
about
can
that.
just craft pretty much anything you want on a 75.
That's
As a
also
person-
disgusting. It shouldn't work like that.
Yeah,
Just don't do it. It's not worth it. Quarry farming, not worth it.
I will say that was a very tedious process, and I don't have optimal jewels, but I have something that's good.
Yep.
And
It's good as like
again,
a pre-map thing.
I did it on a lab runner, so I was zooming around Quarry at 400 move speed, and that still took a long time.
Yep.
I feel despite the fact that Delirium isn't as common as it used to be, I feel I can more reliably generate jewels. And the fact that I feel like Delirium is also super common in Quarry. I noticed that when Quarry farming, you not only do you get the seed case really, really close to the waypoint, but you also get an incredible amount of like extra betrayals or incursions or Delirium.
Kind of ignored those.
But yeah, they're pretty low level. Like a lot of notables now have level requirements, item level requirements. But still, I felt like I was much more able to get the jewels that I need for my build. In that case, the Chaos Dot Multi and the Dot Multi jewels, which I got, I can say, I think, fairly reliable. I don't know. I didn't get a single ES jewel all league. Like from the small clusters that I got like 15 or so. One of them is live, none is ES.
I think I've
Is it a
seen like
3-to-1
3 or
recipe?
4.
I should do that.
Yeah.
How many have you seen? What did you say?
I think I've seen 3 or 4 small life cluster jewels, but all of them had 3 passives.
Damn.
But that's good. That's what you want.
I'm
Depends.
point
You want
starved on my
smalls to have 3.
on my characters. I'm point starved, so I gotta have that too.
Life. I'm just looking
Smalls
at
are
what life
like
does.
smalls are like the most efficient way you can possibly get life on the entire tree, with the exception of the Constitution wheel. I think all smalls for life and energy shield are the best at maximum. You want them as 3s.
Oh, I guess crap. I guess I could have just I guess I could have just spec out a 5% and spent that into a small life. Well, I hope I kept some of those. I hope I kept those. I think I have like 2
Yeah.
still.
It's sort of the exact opposite of the every other jewel, like, right? You want larges with 8. If I see a large with 9, it becomes vendor fodder. And if you see a medium with 6, in most cases, that's garbage. There's one case where they're super expensive, but that's because the return of Herald is happening, in case anyone missed that.
That was inevitable.
I'm in lab world, so I didn't know that was happening.
Or a stacking build is returned. And if you want to know when, all you have to do is pick any of the items you knew that it used last league and have a look at it on PoE Ninja, like Malagaro's gloves.
Oh, is
Super cheap.
An Ellie Weak corrupted pair of Malagaro's gloves went from like 8x to 75x in 8 hours. The Voices cluster jewels, the 5 pointers, went from 1 to 25 in 8 hours.
I'm looking at
What?
All the items you know that worked for the Herald stacker just whoop, all at once. Which means a small subset of people found a way to make it work and then bought up all of the items as quick as they possibly could and are now making those builds. And in the next 2 or 3 or 4 days, the build and how it works will come out, and then everyone else will want them, and then the people in charge of all of the wealth will sell those items at 150 times what they paid for it a few days ago.
While it's not expensive, I do see a noticeable jump in Nebulous in the past day.
I'm just gonna delist my Nebulous real quick. Where did I put it? Oh, there it is.
Yeah, so that is the thing. The aura stacking guys are back. They're back at it again. It's a lot more restrictive than last time, and it won't be quite as strong, and it'll be a lot harder to make. So if you're someone who could afford to make it last time, you probably can't afford it this time, and it's not as good, but it's still back.
I mean, it was incredibly powerful last league, and
way too powerful.
It should be something that should be not as good, but achievable at like an insane amount of investment. It was a fun, interesting build. Like from the way it was built, it was way too powerful, way too easily.
Massively strong.
I think it'll be okay this time. Because it'll be
I
something most of us can't fucking do.
Yeah, that's things like if it's gonna be, it'll be brought down, but it'll still be dumb. So and as long as it's hard to make, then it's fine if it's that dumb.
Yeah, I'm not against that level of upper power, so long as it takes, a bajillion exalts to get it running, then that's fine.
So that 1200 DPS axe that we've seen.
Yeah.
I think Balor was
I want
specifically
that.
talking about not having a problem with the power of Herald builds.
I know. I was kind of tying it to the other things that are like, oh, that's silly.
I do want that axe though. I would actually play melee if I had an axe like that.
Yeah, I think we haven't touched at all on the changes to lab so far. We talked a little bit about Harvest, about the current state of Harvest, how we feel about it. before and after the buff, and how we feel about the idea of it going core already on the second podcast of the league. Like, anyone else think that this league feels like super progressed already? Heard a lot of people say they feel like they're already in the second month after 2 weeks.
Well,
Is that burnout or
It's been
just-
2 weeks.
No, it's been 3 weeks now, but it's like when I heard them talk
wait, has
about
it
it,
only
was
been
a
3
week late.
weeks?
No, that's what I said on the intro. It's 3 weeks
Yeah.
ago. Yesterday evening, 3 weeks ago, the league started.
Hold on,
Sweet Jesus.
When does the next semester start? Hold on.
When does the next league start?
Well,
I mean,
in September.
I can't keep track of what day it is.
Yeah.
I made.
I know that.
I had suit ready yesterday, and Slippery Jim wake up at like 6:30 in the morning.
Despite the
Wasn't
fact
happening.
that we're sharing date lists for the podcast already for weeks for other guests.
I didn't forget what day the podcast was on.
Oh, you forgot what
I
day it was.
lost track of the day it was.
Oh, okay.
To be
Like,
fair,
I always knew it was
That's
Sunday
a big
morning for me.
difference.
I just thought it was Saturday when it was Friday.
I've thought it's Saturday for the past 3 days, so it's fine.
But yeah,
But,
I didn't realize it was that early. Still.
But yeah, Suit Size, you're kind of the lab person here. Do you want to quickly give us a small introduction to what the different new labs are doing? I only know you can turn the offering to the goddess into a tribute, a gift, or a dedication to the goddess. And I'm
Yeah.
sure you tried all of them and you know exactly what they do.
Oh yeah, so the new labs have been added into the game that Baylor is called Giga Labs. My dumb brain has called them Uwu Labs because someone said
Ooh, labs.
someone said Uber, abbreviated UU, and then my dumb brain read it as Uwu, so my chat won't let that go. So for
Ugh.
the new labs, for the Uwu Labs, yeah, you can get them by using a tier 3 Vivid Seed, and you can upgrade an offering randomly into 1 to 3. Well, it'll tell you which offering, but which ones you get will be random. And
Yep.
each of the 3 different offerings provide different rewards, but also they're all harder than Uber Lab, hence the name. At base, they're all level 83. And they all actually have a specific list of mods, but their numbers change depending which lab you're in. Specifically, they all have experience gain, increased damage taken from traps, increased damage effectiveness of damage over time from lab traps, Izaro damage, Izaro life, lab monster damage, lab monster life, and pack size. That's the base that you start with. Now the
And that's
numbers
the
are
same for
different.
all 3 of them.
That is the same for all 3 of them. Have at least those mods.
Oh, okay.
Oh god.
Have at least those mods. Some of them have different things. And I guess while I'm going through the labs, I'll probably mention a little bit about each of the rewards because the rewards are also different. I guess I'll start with the least eventful one in my mind, which would be the dedication to the goddess, because that one lets you have built enchants, which are there's like 4 good ones, 4 kind of good ones. The rest of the built enchants aren't that great. And the main thing about that lab is it actually has 80% increased damage taken from all the traps. So combine that with garbage belt enchants, I don't see people doing that lab.
How many? How big is the pool of the belt enchants? Because you said there's like 4 good ones. I've seen one where it's like your withered reduces enemy all resist by -6 or something like that. Enemies
let's
withered
see.
by you have -6 to all resist or something like that. That one sounded pog for me.
Oh.
There are 15 enchants, built enchants, and yeah, it is enemies withered by you have -6% res. The other notable ones to me are area of effect while you have arcane surge, recover life when you kill an enemy while you have rage.
Very
Yeah.
niche.
And hits against enemies unnerved by you have 50% increased chance to get hit by a crit. And I
That
think
one's
the last
cool.
And I think the last one that is niche but good would be enemies maimed by you take 8% increased damage over time.
That's also cool.
But the other ones
There
are
are a
like
few.
the other ones are like accuracy while you have onslaught, which is avoid
Yep.
ailments while you have elusive. Okay, that one's shaky because you can't just dispel ailments. Reduced curse effect while you're on consecrated ground is I don't know who builds their own consecrated ground.
Or purifying flame and stuff like that. But
But most of them aren't I guess there's an argument to be made by enemies blinded by you have 30% reduced crit rate, but they're kind of blinded already.
I mean,
There are a hand that are like they're good, debatable, or probably not gonna have to worry about belt enchants. And I just think
yeah.
combining that with the part that people kind of hate most about the lab, which is the traps, and making the traps even
Running
harder, it's like I don't think people are probably not gonna do dedication. Also, yes, I heard that Baylor. I heard that Baylor. And I absolutely kind of understand and agree with that. A lot of people don't like lab just because they don't like doing it. Which actually, I probably should have started with that. If you don't like lab before, the offerings don't fix your problems. They make it worse by making traps deal more damage to you, and you still have to wait for good labs. So if you don't like lab before, these new offerings don't do anything to benefit you. They kind of just
So if
benefit
you
people who are
already
kind of middling.
liked lab, you now have a more challenging version that you can run.
Which side are
Is it-
you?
But is it worth it for the others? Not the belt enchant one, apparently.
I
but-
will get if the next lab that I would like to talk about is actually the tribute to the goddess. This one in my mind is actually the hardest lab because it had not only does I guess I should mention previously for the other labs, Azaro deals 30% damage and Azaro has 300% life in addition to being level 83. But for the tribute to the goddess, he has 60% damage, 400% life, 50% AoE, and 30% attack, cast, and move speed.
Right, so you stop trying to dodge him and you build a juggernaut.
No! Here's the thing. My lab build that I went to fight Azaro for the first time was a 8k HP juggernaut with 7 endurance charges, 10k armor. I got hit by a two-handed slam for 5k damage through all of that. It hurt. It hurt.
But then one
So are
enduring
we
cry and
building,
you're back up.
Are we building like lab? Like are we to do lab? Do we now have to build like delve style jugs?
You have
Like
to
that
build.
level?
I would
Just get a
say
decoy totem.
if you have a proper boss killer, you can probably do lab as long as you're not a glass cannon boss killer, because you still have to navigate the lab.
Like a hardcore style boss killer.
Yes.
Herald of Agony jug is the thing going on now. Not just a regular jug.
So
but-
I may have
but the
started with a
full
Herald of Agony
Giga
jug that
Defense.
doesn't do enough damage.
Really?
Yeah, maybe I don't know if it's because I had bad gear, but I did take a Herald of Agony Juggernaut into that tribute lab, and it killed Azaro. Well, it sort of killed Azaro. I was able to phase Azaro and everything. It just took a while, and I say I sort of killed Azaro because I got to the final room and I crashed.
Oh no. Oh no.
Paper hands.
Out of the 3 labs I did, 2 of them crashed in the final room.
Oof.
Yeah, but I definitely will say that the tribute, just because Azaro is such a monster in that fight in that lab, that was probably the hardest one. However, the rewards are it just says Labyrinth rewards have been enriched, and what that means is the silver chests, the chests behind some of the trap gauntlets and puzzles, and the end chests have been buffed, and they have been buffed significantly. Most notably, stacks of quality currency, which for the love of God, please add that into regular lab. Because instead of seeing like a screen full of blacksmith whetstones, I see 3 groups of 10. And that's a lot nicer now.
That's very nice.
They have
I
stacks
would
of
pick
regular
those up.
currency. Yeah, they have stacks of regular currency. I had someone send me, tell me that they had an Exalt drop, but because it was in the Tribute Lab, they had 2 Exalts drop in a stack. So, that's a thing.
Nice.
Stacks of div cards. And I think they could be any div cards. Eye level 86 bases, which is awesome. But not only can you get eye level 86 bases, very, very rarely you can get influenced 86 bases.
Yo,
Which
that's
is
cool.
really nice. I got sent a picture of a Elder Convoking Wand from Lab.
86, wow.
Ooh.
That was 86, yeah.
I mean, I
And
don't think you want an Elder Convoking one, but like that's an interesting and useful thing.
Just a chance of an Elder Bone Helmet sitting there.
Yep.
And I guess the only two other ones that I know of that I've seen, I need to go back and do more tribute labs. Uncorrupted 6 links, and their eye level is 86 bases as well. And tier 14 through 16 maps. In my tribute lab that I succeeded, I got 8 tier 14 to 16 maps from 2 boxes. Or I opened 2 boxes and got total like 8 maps from them.
Oh,
And that
that's
was
juicy.
very nice. But
Okay, so I'm just saying that's forget about the buff part, but that's the level that regular like Uber Lab should be on anyway.
No, regular Uber Lab is way too easy to get that good loot.
I was about to say that might be a little.
No, just the zone level. Like because you can drop maps in Uber Lab, but by the time you unlock it, you're already in tier 14 to 16 maps most of the time. I would just like it to be that level. Just the Uber Lab. Even if they didn't buff it or buff anything, just that item level.
If Uber Lab itself was just by default level 83, I'd be okay with that, but I'd be wary about leaving those difficulty mods on it at that point.
No, I just mean normal Uber Lab, just level
83.
No.
If
Even like
Uber Lab was just 83,
so it can drop good red level maps.
Yeah, I did.
It's too low.
I ran into the niche situation where the current lab map drops actually helped me because I unlocked Uber Lab and I was still in tier 6 maps. I ran Uber Lab for 2 days and I jumped all the way to tier 11 and 12 maps. Because the lab just gave me like 30 or some odd maps. But that is a very niche situation where you actually want to farm lab in the first week. Because most people don't do that. In fact, everyone doesn't do that. I would say.
I definitely don't want to do that.
I would be tempted to start with a lab farmer, even in SSF. Ideally it would be for a trade league because then you can sell the enchants that you don't need. Otherwise, you're just setting your own league up. But what always prevented me from doing it is, I want to engage with the league, and the league is never in lab. So, like, as a streamer, like, what do you have to offer? Like, everyone wants to see what's the new content, right? So, like, but you're just spending all your day in lab. There's no content.
I've been struggling with that recently, where as my BV character, I killed Awakener 8 Sirius with my BV poison character, and I hit a crossroads. Like, I kind of want to make another character. Do I make another mapping build? And I was actually thinking about playing Don Blow, but then I was like, I haven't done any of the tribute lab farming because I wanted to do tribute lab farming because I knew about those rewards. I'm like, I haven't done any lab farming about that, but no one. Do I want to farm lab now, or do I want to keep mapping? Because I'm kind of enjoying mapping and engaging with the league crafting. I made a broken chestplate and broken boots, and now a broken weapon. Do I really want to leave this back and just go into lab for a bit? I think I kind of am with that Ice Crasher. I hope that Ice Crasher can actually like survive lab. It has the damage. I hope I can actually survive lab. But it's a weird situation of lab being so detached from the league. Because even now, the league interacts with lab, but the lab doesn't interact with the league.
Right, because
the league will get you a better lab, but the lab doesn't do anything with harvest.
Yeah, why don't you get seeds from the enchanted labs, from the augmented labs?
That'd be nice if at the end of the lab there was just a little extra box that was just a box of seeds.
Like 3 maps worth of seeds for running the.
No, higher tier seeds maybe. Like normally you only get tier 1 seeds from the seed cage, but in the lab they could give you like tier 2, tier 3 seeds.
Oh, that'd be
would
nice.
Be cool.
Yeah. I could I'd speed farm Uber Lab so much for tier 1 seeds. Just regular Uber Lab for tier 1 seeds. But I will say, in terms of all 3 of the labs, the tribute one seems most interesting because not only is it the hardest one, but I feel like the rewards. This is very strange in a world of where enchants make super bank, and I made like 30 exalts at the beginning of the league from enchants. But the chest reward might be the one of the better new labs to farm, just because every single item in that pool sounds good to get. Every single box pool seems good to get. And I will mention, like I said, you can get some of these from the silver doors. If you're willing to go your way to get a silver door, you can get some of these in a smaller quantity, but still getting stacks of currency.
Which, if they're rewarding enough, then you'll do that, right? Like,
yeah. Oh yeah. And I guess now that I've spoken about the lab that I feel like is most interesting, the one that's in a strange position is the Gift of the Goddess. This is actually the most expensive offering to get, because that is the lab that gives you 6 additional uses of the Divine Font for a total of 7 enchants at base, but you can use twice enchanted and get the Dark Shrine for a total of 9 enchants. And this has caused a weird situation of, well, I guess before I say the weird situation, previous thing, the changes to the Gift of the Goddess is actually the easiest lab because all it does is it buffs the normal monsters in the lab.
Oh, it doesn't buff Izaro at all?
No, it
Outside of
doesn't.
the baseline stuff.
Izaro just has 30% damage, 300% life. The traps deal 30% damage. The mobs, however, have like 100% damage and 300% life, which don't matter. So it's like, it's the easiest lab, but it gives you all those enchants. But it's that question of, well, which is better? That lab or just speedrunning Uber Lab? And the answer is it depends. Because a strange thing kind of happened where, I don't know if it's still going on, but when I was when I was trying to buy or looking at Gift of the Goddess to run it, the price of a Gift of the Goddess is the same price as 4 twice enchanteds, because it takes 4 regular labs to equal one of those Gifts of the Goddess. So it kind of depends. Do you want to do? Can you do 4 labs super quick, or can you just handle the one really hard lab?
I'll bet you can do 4 labs quicker.
I'd probably want to invest a little bit more into my character to get to like 500-600% move speed first, and then it'd probably. Honestly, I'd still just do Uber Lab the regular Uber Lab regardless, just because it's less stressful. I don't have to deal with that Turbo Izaro.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do feel like a regular player should probably give the Gift of the Gods a try at least, just to see where their build stands. Because if you can do it at a decent time, you might as well keep doing them every time you see them, because that's 9 enchants. Well, 7 to 9 enchants is a good amount. Now, granted, you're probably not going to get what you want, but it's better than just having to do that one Uber Lab and slog through it. But at least now, when you slog through it, you're going to get something that's going to feel really good at the end, where you roll it 9 times.
Yeah. Now you get 9 bad enchants instead of 1.
Yeah, you see Devouring Totem twice, and then Golem resistances. But it's overall, I guess, like I do like the added challenge of the labs. I do like Izaro is a boss again, right? He's been a pushover. Well, so he's sort of been a pushover. You can kill him easily, but he can still one tap you at 75, surprisingly. But now he's like, it feels like a proper boss. Where at the point where I'm thinking of like, I need a proper boss killer to fight him in this stronger lab. So that's a good feeling to have.
The stronger
that
lab
is good though.
One question: the stronger lab is always the same layout as Uber Lab?
Oh yeah, yes. The upgraded offerings have the same layout as Uber Lab. So that is also another problem where if you're trying to wait for a good lab to run for those new offerings, you have to wait for the regular lab to be good as well. So that is problematic at times when.
Would it be worse if it was the other way though? Because at least now you can run normal Uber Lab to find out whether you want to run the good ones. Otherwise, you'd have to jump into the good ones.
Yeah, that is a benefit. I'm very glad I don't have to run the hard labs to map them out. I'm very glad I didn't have to speedrun the hard labs to map them out. But it's still that same old lab problem of we had 2 super solid days of lab farming, and now it's been 2 weeks, and lab still is like go into every room. If you want everything, it's like that's not fun. That's not time effective.
I wonder if lab even needs to have random layouts anymore. But that's
or
a different
seated
thing.
layouts. It's like I guess that's on right. Yeah, that's something people brought up to me where seated layouts versus a random lab every single time, and I feel like both have their benefits and both have their weaknesses. I can definitely see people like absolutely hating random labs every single time because one character might have like the shortest lab ever, and the next character has the longest lab ever, and then you die during longest lab ever, do it again, and now it's a medium lab. So it's just like
I more mean like I feel like they could have almost not set layouts because the individual zones would be different, but just like zones when I'm leveling. Like I don't really understand why they have to change daily.
Oh, okay, I see.
right? Like the individual zones can still be random like everything else is. But I just don't really understand why it has to be a different thing.
Yeah, I see. So like
All
the
the
leave
time.
the excuse me, leave the section layouts the same, like the same amount of rooms, same amount of side rooms, same
Yeah.
same amount of rooms, same amount of side rooms. The exits can be slightly different. The rewards can move around. The lab is can still change. Argus can still move around, but the
Yeah.
actual like amount of rooms you're doing every day is the same.
Yeah.
That,
And I don't
that,
really see why that's not the case.
Because it's just way more replayable and stays fresher way longer if it is procedurally generated every day. I don't see the downside of having content that is
Well,
just
the
different
downside is
every
they
time.
haven't wanted to run lab. People who like lab haven't wanted to run it for the last 2 weeks.
I don't think that
People who
has
like running
anything
lab.
to do with each other at all. Like I don't
What?
think
They're
No.
directly related.
no,
I don't think people who don't like lab don't like it because of the changing layouts.
No,
Wait,
but the people
please.
who like
no.
lab
Okay, no. Well,
don't run
okay.
it.
Yeah, it's we're talking about two different points where it's the general player base and the people from lab. The general player base, the daily changing lab, they don't care about. If it doesn't matter the daily changing layouts, they don't care about. The general player base, I feel like, dislikes lab because of the way it's designed and the way it functions, where it is opposite of PoE, where instead of killing hordes of mobs and then getting a reward, you have to walk past everything to get to your reward. And for the lab runners, we care very much about the daily changing layouts because, as mentioned, we just haven't done lab in like a week or two because we look at the layout and we see you got to do 3 side rooms and you just don't want to do that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So it's just
So making them at least a static layout wouldn't do anything to the people who don't like lab already. Like, I don't care. You give me the best lab layout in the fucking world and I'm still not running it more than once per character. I don't like lab.
Yeah.
But someone who does like that content wouldn't have to spend like a week and a half, 2 weeks waiting for a lab day that's worth running.
That's a
If the
super
rewards-
fair point.
if there's side rooms and the stuff still moves around, there's still going to be a wait time, which I think is fine considering you can just you can just map in the meantime, I guess. And because that's what I do.
But like,
But
imagine if Burial Chambers only on some days was able to drop a doctor.
ugh.
Who says it isn't the case?
Oh god.
You can't prove a negative.
Well, you have to just find a day where no one dropped a doctor, and then you prove it, right? I mean, you at least have a strong indication, not a proof. But
I will say the lab is post 3.0. The lab is now significantly better than pre 3.0. Like the changes to the length of the base 3 lab is better. The reward structure is mostly better. I was sad to see the intricate locker disappear and remove death store farming. And they need to do something about enchants, man. They need to do something about enchants.
yeah,
7 to 9 extra enchants is nice, but my god, that pool sucks. That enchant pool is terrible.
a long time ago, I was in a conversation on your guys' PoE lab server, and at the time, I never talked about it in public because I felt like I was part of a private conversation and I can't leak anything. But it's so long ago that I have to ask you. There was some hint of some people trying to figure out like a deterministic way to restrict the pool of enchants. Is that still something that's being investigated by individuals, or have people given up on that? Because
I think people are still trying to suss out that theory. I'm still skeptical on it, and there's some people who kind of live and die by it. And for those who don't, I guess I'll talk about this because I have spoken about it on stream because it comes up every now and then. Where there is a theory going around where if you open the chest at the end of the lab in a certain specific order, depending on the day, it will reduce your enchant pool.
That can't be true.
If you want me to take a step further, that theory is based on the idea that art in the wall along the walls in that room changes on a daily basis.
Oh god, that could be true.
I still don't think it's true because that seems like a very strange way to code things, or very strange way to design things where wall assets determine boxes that determine enchants.
Except
Now,
that
some people, I will admit,
there's
there are people who have
precedent.
done. There have been people who have done thousands of labs, more than I have, and they say they see some sort of pattern there. But for me, I think
dude, if I do 1,000 laps, then I'm also gonna see patterns somewhere,
Like-
dude.
Yeah.
that's kind of where I am. It's like you've just done so many. You've just done
Did
so
you
many.
know
But there's
every
precedent for
Thursday,
that.
every single Thursday on New Zealand time, so not American time, every single Thursday there's a fish in Oriath fountain that isn't there every other day of the week. Major
What?
conspiracy, probably tied to lab,
Probably tied to fishing.
Yeah, so
probably tied to
is why-
fishing. If they do that, then that means, yeah, probably lab thing's probably real.
This is why.
By the way, it's not every Thursday. It's just random generation. That's how it works. That's how the entire game's built, to make it look different, even though it's the same thing. It's reusing assets. That's how game development is. Come on, lab farmers. You're a bunch of psychopaths. Go check out Oriath. Is it Thursday? Let me see if the fish's there.
that's
Except
actually
that.
why I hesitate so much to talk about that theory, because it just seems like, really now we're going that far in hopes that there's a deterministic enchanting. Which honestly, the idea of deterministic enchanting is something I would very much appreciate, and in fact have an idea of how to fix or change the enchant system to make it better.
Let's go.
Yeah. Let's hear your
Shoot the
suggestion.
idea.
I mean, obviously you would be able to limit it to either strength, intelligence, or dex gems, or something like that, or like melee skills.
So,
I don't know.
This I'm gonna put two disclaimers. One, a major rarity rebalance would have to happen because the enchants are weighted. A bigger balance change would have to happen with that. Two, this will only work in PoE 2. In PoE 2, you can link and socket your gems. How about we enchant our gems? And there is a smaller pool that has some global modifiers to affect your gems. So if you're enchanting, let's say, a tornado shot, you could get damage, projectile speed, chain, fork, pierce, extra projectile. Just any effect that will work with those tags on the gem. But as mentioned, a huge rarity rebalance would have to happen in order to compensate for that. So now, if you want to get a enchant for your main skill, just put it on your skill. Just enchant your skill right away, and you'll get something usable for it. And if you want the better thing, you're gonna have to probably roll it a couple times. It'll be like it'll be closer to enchanting a boot than the helmet, where a boot seems to be feasible but hard, and a helmet seems like a crapshoot at this point because there's like 500 plus enchants in the pool. So could work. Again, major changes would have to happen in terms of what enchants you get and how rare they are. But that would be one way to fix the problem, because now you don't have to add another 5 enchants in, because you just put the skill gem in, and the skill gem has a predetermined amount of enchants you can get for it.
I mean, that's far more of an interesting idea than mine, which was just, remove like half of the enchants that are garbage that no one wants.
So that's,
and then let me have like a lucky roll, like you hit enchant and you get 3 options that are rolled randomly, and I get to pick one of those 3.
That gets brought up to me a lot, where it's like turn it into June, where you see your 3 enchants, and I say that works because that kind of cuts the RNG by a third. But they're still going to add more skill gems, and they're still going to add more enchants as a result. So things get rebloated. We have to do something that kind of
it's like that solution's a band-aid, whereas you're changing. Your idea is like changing how it functions.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the core.
Now,
it does make sense. Sorry, please finish your thought first.
Oh no, you go first.
I go first. Okay,
I've spoken a lot.
No, that's fine. It makes sense in the context. But I just wanted to say that your suggestion makes sense with the development of PoE 2 moving away from items kind of being locked onto your character because of socket setups, right? Because you have like 3 off colors on a 6-link, you can't easily replace it with another item because you need to move your entire skill setup into the new item. And that's what they want to move away from. They want to make upgrading items more intuitive for newer players, so that you can just, when you find an upgrade, you can actually directly put it on instead of first having to take care of all the other things. And the other things are not just sockets and links, but also stuff like enchants. For example, if you find a better helmet, you then have to, you can't move your enchant, so you'd have to re-enchant it, and that's a futile effort in many cases. Like, I don't see that happening. for many endgame builds that they upgrade their helmet without like scouring it and recrafting it, or just buying the base with the exact enchant. But you're not gonna craft a helmet and get like target and enchant. That's out of the ordinary now, right?
I did just realize something. This is under the assumption that Lab makes it into PoE 2.
Well, it doesn't. They already said that it's likely going to be another way how to get
Kill Lab, kill Lionheart.
ascendancy.
There will be a different way to get ascendancies, but at
Oh,
ExileCon,
you might still have that as a chance.
I spoke to Eric at ExileCon, and his response was they don't know what's happening to Lab. He personally,
bringing in a new
personally
team
likes
to
Lab, but
harvest is
they
going
don't know
cool.
what's happening to Lab because they have so many other things on the list. They have so many other to-do lists that Lab is just down at the bottom right now. It feels like it's taken 4 years before the league interacted with Lab. So
Well, the annoying part about that is that we know it can, because we've had like 10-day events where they've been in Lab.
We have Bestiary and we've had Turmoil and Flashback events where Lab was actually like borderline busted for farming those, because every room you do have a different modifier. So you can do 3 rooms back to back with Kiriro.
Which means we know it's just a matter of deciding that they don't want to put seeds in your lab. They were just like, you know what? Don't need seeds in there. Like, it's not. It's just a decision.
Well, it would be OP if you had a seed box in every lab zone, because you just rush through them more.
Yeah,
having like one for the entire lab, I don't think would make it even competitive with maps in terms of the time that you spend.
You could make one at each Zaro fight. You get 3 for the entire lab.
So I'd be okay with that.
Meanwhile, I'll run 8 maps while you do 1 lab. So, like, is it that big of a deal?
Honestly, I'd kind of be okay with 1 chest in every phase, because that means if I just botch it and die to Zaro, well, I still got some seeds.
Yeah.
Because that also kind of helps the lab problem of, oh, I botched it and died to Zaro. Well, there goes that offering. I got nothing out of it.
Jim, you've been awkwardly silent, suspiciously silent. How do you feel about lab?
Sorry, I'm looking up my enchants that I need to buy. You've reminded me. Oh man,
what
are we talking about?
SuitSize was telling us about the new lab with the new Uber versions, and then a potential fix for the enchant system. And
you got me excited for belt enchants, even though that was the thing you were least motivated to talk about.
Some of them are alright, but most of them I look at, I'm kind of like, I could live without those. They're just like glove enchants to me. I look at them like, I could live without those.
They're better than the chest piece enchants, dude. I enchanted my tabula with the modifier that gives me 1% fire res for every 2% quality on it. And I'm like, yay, I got like 14% fire res on my tabula now.
I mean, that's better than it was.
Yeah,
absolutely. The most rewarding Labyrinth is the easiest one of the new 3? Like, it's the most expensive one. Is it?
The most expensive, the hardest lab of this. Okay, this is actually kind of interesting. The hardest lab that I think is most rewarding, which is the chest lab, is I think the cheapest offering.
Because no one can run.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. But the most expensive lab is the enchant lab, because it gives 9 enchants, or 6 to 9.
Which tells you a lot about what the players want from lab.
Yep. Yep. Even though the enchant system's just borked, people still want enchants. If my build can actually handle running tribute labs all the time, I'm actually probably gonna start tribute farming and only really enchant farming if I feel like it.
Yeah. Did you talk about like if Izara would give you an enchant at each time you fight him?
That's this kind of the same situation of what.
That's just like a band-aid, like Balor was saying.
It'd be the Jun solution where you see 3 enchants at the end. It'd be the same thing, pretty much.
Yeah, 3 enchants in the end makes much more sense than getting an enchant for not even beating Izaro, for just taking off 30% of his health while he's not even buffed.
Well, if you want to be useful to the devs, you could just go, they're going to kill Lab, so what's a good replacement for enchants? Even if there is even going to be enchants. In your great design idea, what is there?
Well, to replace enchants or to replace lab.
Well, to replace lab.
To replace lab.
As a source for
this is the-
enchants.
So this is the problem. This is the problem question because you were asking a heavily biased person. I would like lab to make it
I am.
too.
You're like, I want delve except as a lab. That's what you're gonna say. I want a lab that's 50
Endless
deep.
lab.
No,
Endless lab race, guys.
Okay, as a person who's been mapping lab for 4 years, I'd rather not have to map an endless area. I'd rather not have to map like a seeded endless area. Please don't do that to me.
No, it'd
That'd
have
be
to
cool.
be not seeded.
But
Have to be
I
random
actually
every roll.
seeded endless area, but it changed every league, so you
Yeah,
couldn't even
like,
just map it once. That'd
everyone
just be
gets
your
the
life from now
same-
on.
well,
Everyone
that's-
gets the same infinite lab that's delve. And specific nodes in the delve lab are the same enchant for everyone. So if everyone wants tornado shot, the information on where tornado shot enchant is in delve lab is a highly sought after thing. It's a hush hush secret amongst the standard players.
Yeah,
it's like-
you better whitelist
It's eight-
PoE for me to do that, so I get paid more.
It's
I
like
like to not
8K
lose
deep.
sleep, please.
Seriously though, I always thought, since they said it, I always thought I was super hyped about Endless Delve, but now that we talked about it, I think I'm more hyped about Endless Lab.
Or like seeded or like RNG for everyone.
RNG. RNG
See,
all the
for-
way,
No,
gambling.
make it seeded because then someone could make a very nice extensive map that everyone will go on with an ad blocker.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I did just remember something that I think they mentioned this during one of the Q&As at ExileCon that I would like for it to actually happen. If we can see our enchant before we use it, I would like that is just something I would like by
That's the
At
only
least
thing
you'd
I
have
was
the
going to
option
bring
to
up.
use it on the right base.
When you were
Yes, 'cause
talking about the painting theory, sorry, when you're talking about like the conspiracy theorists who are like, oh, if you open a door here and you click a bookshelf and then you're more likely to get a hat kind of thing. Have you ever enchanted a hat or a boot or a belt and gotten the exact same enchant back? Is that a
Yes.
thing?
Yeah.
Well,
shit.
not
Well,
back to
then-
back, not back to back.
Not back to back?
I have definitely I mean I think I actually did this league where I was enchanting bone helmets, and I got like I think it was ice spear damage or something like that. I got a 40% damage mod, something else, then back to the 40% damage mod.
So you haven't ever gotten a back-to-back one?
I don't think I've seen back to back. I don't think I've seen back to back.
Can it do back to back? I'm actually not sure now that it got up. At first, when you asked the question, I thought I had that on boot enchants before. But now that I think about it, I can't remember it. It always
And they're all
changes,
equal
right?
weight,
It forces to roll to another one.
I think it does force a roll to another one.
But they're
'cause,
all equal
man,
weights, so there's no way you could do something that's like, oh, let's just pick whatever's got the highest weight, shittest enchant, and keep that on our bases, and then bring those in, and then you're never going to hit that one again, like old sextants or current sextants. No.
Where would you get a supply of poorly enchanted items?
PoE trade?
This guy would have a
Yeah,
pretty
that
good
guy.
supply of poorly enchanted items.
Suddenly, poorly enchanted things suddenly have more value because they're the more sought after base because you're more likely to get a higher enchant from it.
Let me tell you how many heavy strike mods I've seen on bone helmets.
Oh,
Oh, that's the earthquake bone helmets go for something.
Funny you asked that. I think I did get one of those as well. I think I did get an earthquake duration, reduced duration at some point.
Just making necromancer earthquake builds fun.
No, I guess this did get balanced out by me nailing volatile dead on a bone helmet.
That's good.
But don't you want Spellslinger cooldown reduction enchant for
They
that build?
all kind of work.
Yeah, they're all good. And Spellslinger is not the only way to play VD.
No, that is absolutely.
It's the
Now,
best way, though.
I
The most accessible one.
you know
I don't know
seeing
about
the,
Poet's Pen and stuff.
seeing the enchant would have actually like prevented me from making a serious mistake with that enchant though, because I did make a mistake with that volatile dead enchant. I put on a Shaper Elder helmet. If I had put that on just an Elder or a regular bone helmet to turn into a Warlord helmet, it probably would have sold for about twice as much. But
seeing
I
the
didn't know
enchant
it
is
was
just a
volatile
buff
dead,
to the
so-
1%, though, isn't it?
Yeah, the not the 1%, the 0.01% that run lab. Like the
the
12 of us that do that.
0.01%
Like-
that can complete lab, and then the 0.1% of those people. It's just a buff
That
to the rich will get richer with what you're saying, which I can see why you want to say it.
Yeah.
The 0.1% that do actually end up running the lab out of the 1% that actually could run it.
Like 4
Uh.
people will really like that patch.
No, everyone will really like it. You just won't know why. Because there will be more enchants for sale for you to buy on the right basis that you wanted.
SSF, by the way.
Doesn't benefit SSF, so they're
Okay,
obviously
so-
going to put it in because that's how they balance things.
You say that, but earlier today, as mentioned, I was making an Ice Crash character. I went to look up Ice Crash Fizz, as actually called, enchants. They're all on hubris circlets. None of them are in Eternal Bergonet because no one's enchanting an Eternal Bergonet who's farming lab. We're all either doing
'cause who
hubris
wants to do that?
or bone helmets.
Just do
want a
CI
hubris
Ice
or a
Crash
bone
as an
helmet for
occultist,
everything.
dude. Easy.
Just make your Ice Crash character into one of those overleach to energy shield ones, and then you can use the hubris and not feel bad about it.
That's actually 200 IQ.
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
that also kind of brings seeing the enchant would be nice. Storing an enchant on a divine vessel would be interesting.
Technically, yeah, no, if you use a Soul Tether, then a Hubris Circlet would be the best EHP base. It would have the highest EHP out of all.
You know what? I have a lot of divine vessels, but I only have a lot of divine vessels because I don't use them for fucking anything. They're actually not common.
No, that's true.
If you could
Yeah,
store lab enchants on them, they would actually probably be like 10 CH. Maybe more.
Yeah, I would. Yeah,
Because like
It-
Soup
it-
would want to
it
buy
does-
100 of them. He'd be like,
Yeah.
I need all of those,
Yeah.
please, in stacks.
Would they be one use, or would you want them to be able to be re-rolled? Because then you're going to have a whole bunch of brick divine
Oh,
vessels. as
I'd
well, if they're one
re-roll,
use.
be able to re-roll them because the moment I see like a golem res, I'd enchant over that. But at the, it does not fix the base problems of the enchant system, but it'd be a nice quality of life situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it'd also kind of be an interesting economy change to where divine vessels are.
Suddenly
profitable.
worth picking up. Probably more expensive than divine orbs.
Oh, that's
fine,
They
because
could make
they're
them a little bit
definitely
rarer.
That's a weird timeline to be in. That's the situation.
Divine vessels worth 2 divine orbs. Let's go.
Well,
That
I
would
think
be interesting.
I think we've kind of exhausted the topic list successfully. Like really well touched upon everything. Do you guys feel like you want to bring up something that hasn't been brought up? Open a big can of worms. I see like see SlipperyJim's gears grinding behind his forehead. It's like, how can I derail this podcast as hard as
I
possible
could.
right
Well,
now?
I have the easy one.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys talked about stash tabs?
I think we talked about it last episode a little bit.
Okay.
But like, I mean, we don't know your guys' take on it. So feel
I
free
saw
to.
a stash tab discussion on a different subreddit that wasn't PoE about PoE stash tabs and about how Tencent is the reason that those 3 stash tabs got in the game because Tencent want money, and it's about how Tencent was taking over the world and how they're going to
Tencent is literally the devil, dude.
or something. And it was the greatest discussion. I was in there flaming the best I could, supporting PoE and all that. No, it was it was great. That guy, something's wrong with that guy. Anyway, he must have been like a PoE lab farmer or something.
You know, I think that's the best way to start and stop that conversation. Let's move on.
Yep, I'm good.
I like that Chris said he was thinking about putting that control click thing there, like from where you control click from your inventory into whichever stash the item is supposed to go to. That was something they said they were thinking
Affinities.
about. And I was like, if they add that to the game, I will literally buy any stash tab they bring out because it's the only reason I haven't bought the 3 new ones they added is because I don't want to have to move to 3 separate things to sort my shit. I could easily just dump it all in just one normal tab and I'm done.
Yep.
So I've got my
I have-
Delirium Blight crap tab.
I have a serious hoarding problem, and that would make my life much easier with my quad tab.
Yep.
bring it out.
I
Chris.
want
Just do it.
affinities.
Just do it,
That's
Chris.
all. But didn't they? They didn't say they were thinking about it. They said they were literally working on it.
They said they were
like a
already
cat-
working
Yeah, but
on it, and they're only
4
talking
years
about
ago,
it.
they said we're working on ways to make trade better, and then here we are, not with anything. So it's,
Well, they've talked about
Hey.
trade on several occasions, though. Why they're very careful about making it better.
yeah.
At least they've talked about those changes. Lab's got nothing.
They could bring out a bloody blog post about what they were talking about putting into Harvest and then didn't do because it would break all the shit and it would make people excited. But talking about something doesn't mean anything. No offense, this podcast is useless because we're all talking about stuff. But they go through so many different phases of game design and then we get what we get. They should talk about what we're going to get, not what they're talking about, because talk is useless. I mean, sure, it's great conversations.
So you're saying I might get Lab in PoE too?
No.
I mean-
anything is possible.
Yes.
What if you get Lab and it's RNG,
Infinite.
but there's nothing in it and it's just a decrepit, empty building that you get to explore, like that area where you go to the Betrayal and there's an empty hideout and there's nothing there.
Okay, you
It's
know what?
just
I'm gonna be
lore
honest.
reasons.
If there was a lore reason for Lab to show up and is this completely like desiccated and dead, I'd be okay with that.
Like a stripped crypt, like a stripped
Like,
Egyptian crypt.
If the way you ascend in PoE 2 is you go into a busted lab with nothing in it, that click a button, we're good.
It's got one enchant left on it, and that's it. And it's
Imagine that.
character-bound.
It's got like 3 rooms. None of the traps work, but there are mobs everywhere still. Everything's broken. There's no Azaro, and then there's just like a thing at the end.
And do some
Only
like
if-
Portal
I
2 shit
understand.
where you can get outside the walls and look behind the lab.
Only if we get to see
Fucking lore
Argus
building.
with an Argus family, because the pupper needs to live. All right, you need to let him live.
Yeah, there's one section of lab. All the mobs are just tiny Argus babies, all kind of slightly more messed up because they're all inbred somehow. What is he, like asexual? How's that going to work?
Listen,
Looking forward to it.
thumb
Yeah, we got it. We're done.
Look, you don't need the specifics about how that. You just need Argus babies. That's all.
I want my lore. You just want an Argus pet. Is that a thing? It probably is.
If you cut off Argus' tail, then he grows back a new one, and then the tail grows a new Argus.
Is that why he respawns every lab?
Probably.
Okay, whoever at GED decided to put the friendship card on Argus, why? Why do you do that to me?
That's
Why do you
so
do that to me?
mean.
I kill Argus to get the key and map out the lab every day, and he drops a friendship card. And it's like, here, buddy. It's like, it hurts every time.
Yeah. I cry every time. All right. What's your ambitions for the rest of the league? Do you have like a big project down the in the pipeline, not down the pipeline, up the pipeline that's gonna come down? What's your next? What are you aspiring to? And I'm mostly interested to hear what kind of 100x videos SlipperyJim is gonna make.
Nothing. I'm done. No videos this league. Nothing. I'm serious. I've got nothing. Nothing planned. Nothing happening. People think I'm dead. Sounds good.
But there's Nemesis on the map device.
So, my hands hurt. I'm over it. Retiring. We'll see.
Taking a break.
But I don't have anything planned.
You're just
Maybe I
saying
farm
that.
1,000 labs and take his job.
I dare ya.
Nah, fuck that. That's too many.
Yep.
Maybe I make a conspiracy video about how you can target farm lab enchants, and it's a 3-hour-long video, and at the end I say, "Gotcha," and that's it.
Oh man.
No, I
But
don't
it's
have
all
anything
just a
planned.
theory.
I might go
I feel
back
like-
to that layout and loot series that I started in Synthesis, because Synthesis was a crafting league where nothing really dropped in the maps, kinda, and I could separate the loot from like the map drop loot. You know what I mean? So I
Oh
might just do
yeah.
that again. So now I can do maps, still get the league content, but have the loot be separate from the map loot.
That's fair.
Plus, I can do like 100 maps, and that's one layout loot video, and 100 maps is coincidentally a harvest boss. So I'm killing 2 birds with 1 stone, or 1 plant and a bird, or a woman. I don't know.
Setting a
Yep,
tree on
yep.
fire.
We'll see. Or I'll get burned out and go play Red Dead. One or the other.
Mm.
What about you,
Um,
Cat? Planning on dying in
Me?
hardcore?
I haven't died. I mean, I died on my level 94 on the Molten Strike Jug. I just gave up because I knew that I was gonna die if I continued to progress.
I haven't died. Oh wait, I died. Yeah, that's.
Well,
that's
but
your
normally
story.
at this point, I'm on my 10th character, right? Like 3 weeks into the league, right?
enough.
I'm just saying that, like, outside of the VD Spellslinger death, which was really fucking bullshit, by the way, I got mowed down by
happened to
Barcool in a tier 14 map. Barcool, the spinny guy from the Resto stream, right? That guy just went over me like a lawnmower. It's like, and I was dead on a glancing blows build with like cap block and like a decent mitigation and everything, and he just and it was just a crit map. There was no added damage mods either. There was nothing. Just crit. But he just rolled, I guess, only crits.
Reduced
Was
block.
there reduced block mods?
No, not that I know of. I mean, I can look at the clip again, but I mean, I looked at it 3 times. No, there was no reduced block. It was retarded. But it was just stupid because I had a tabula and was standing in his way. I should have just moved away. I just didn't think I could die like that. But it's also, it always happens. Like, you build some complacency if you're in hardcore and you do like hard content. Then when you do something like a tier 14 Barcool without added damage mods, then you're like, well, I can't die here. Oh, resurrect in town.
Yes, you can.
But yeah, no, I wanna make this character hit more than 10k ES. Like, I wanna see how good I can make the ES gear. I mean, honestly, if I craft really good helmet, gloves, boots, I get my baited breath to 20% quality, and maybe like make a new ring, or even stack ailment avoidance somewhere and give up my dream fragments. I think we can easily hit like 11, 12k ES, and then the recharge would probably go up to like 15,000 during Flask Effect. That's just an estimate, but like, and also like I don't have ES jewels, small ES clusters I don't have yet. There's like in the slots, in the jewel sockets in my 2 medium, there's actually normal jewels with the S rolls. So yeah, just think about how much 2 energy from Nord would be. Yeah, I definitely want to stick to this character for now, but it might be a little bit tedious to do bossing with that. I don't know. Caustic Arrow is not the best single target, but it deals its damage while you're running around. I need to mute my mic because there's a helicopter at fucking midnight. No, 1:30. I don't know. So please tell us what you are planning, Balor.
No. We want to hear the helicopter.
Mm-hmm.
You can hear it, just the people on the stream won't hear.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine. I'm just making a speedy boy. I had a good look at all the assassins that people are running. Most people are running either the Herald one or the Cold Conversion Blade Vortex, both of which are too slow and too expensive. So I made a Fire Conversion one, which is half the price and faster and chains further. And so now I'm a speedy boy. Unfortunately, because I did it on a really tight budget, while I'm a speedy boy, I'm very, very squishy. I'm dying like every map, pretty much. But still clearing maps really quick. It'll be fine. I just need some levels and a little bit of crafting to get my life to like 5k, and then I'll be fine. I did all the damage stuff first. Damage and speed. And now I've got to work on survivability.
Well, damage carries you a long time. It avoids those situations where you can actually take damage, right?
Yep.
Well, until you die, then you have 0 DPS.
That's true.
But yep, that's pretty much it. Crafting everything.
Who's farming lab though? Sorry. What are you doing?
I'm slowly working towards that actually. Tonight I'm probably gonna rep up my Poison BV character, and I just respect my jug that didn't work at the beginning of the league into an Ice Crash build, and I'm gonna work on that to try to get it to do tribute labs. So hopefully that pans out well. I have a 850 PTPS staff with crit stuff on it, so that's pretty nice. I have frozen map bosses repeatedly at this point, and that's very satisfying to do.
Yeah.
unfortunately, I am currently in college, so in about a month, I probably will have to cut back on PoE a lot, so I don't know what's going on then. But for now, just finishing up BV and then moving into trying to do Trippy Lab stuff. And maybe looking at Dom Blow, because the last time I played Dominating Blow was back when it converted monsters into your minions. It's been a long time.
It's pretty good. Pretty good, except for the people who tried it in solo self-found. Even though it had like 3 required uniques that you have to farm from tier 16 maps. I'm like, I wouldn't do this in solo self-found without as a league start. But
Wait, what
in
other
trade
uniques
league,
do you
like,
need?
great.
It's a Scourge and...
Circle of whatever the ring is called.
Oh yeah,
Circle,
okay, two
maybe?
circles, okay.
You only need 1. But you really need 1 to make it
For reduced reservation? Or?
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you really need reduced reservation to make it good. You can do it without it. We came up with path of buildings that we get people by. But it didn't look like a good build until you put a ring on.
Did you like it?
God damn it, Jim. I see what you did.
Ah, damn it, so close. Well, you better. You better like it. Cat's so confused. Anyway.
Is he confused?
Yeah, I don't know what you guys are memeing about.
If you like it, then you should have put a ring on it.
Oh, God.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
I'm too much out of pop music in order to... oh, God. Oh, God.
Sorry.
Oh, well.
Oh,
Well-
he's not sorry. Don't listen to his lies.
Now that we all know about your dreams and ambitions, do you want to quickly give us a rundown where the viewers can find you and what they can be excited to see there outside of what you've already teased?
Let Jim go first.
No, me.
Yeah,
SlipperyJim,
Jim, you're on the
Google it.
spot.
Twitch,
What?
SlipperyJim. I'm there this Harvest League. YouTube, SlipperyJim. I'm not really there this Harvest League. Pick your poison. I don't talk at all on Twitch when I stream, and I talk a shit ton on YouTube to make up for it. So,
But you don't have
If
any
you like my
YouTube
voice.
this week.
nah, I don't. So, go sub there if you want to see nothing. I'll make something eventually. Maybe I'll make a thing saying what I'm doing, which is streaming, and that's it. So, yep.
And he'll
Oh, if
somehow
you
make
wanna-
that video 10 minutes long.
Yeah, if you want to see me at Balor's house, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and once we get to 50k, we'll do a we'll both stream at his house. It nearly happened the other day.
I did not agree to this.
It nearly
It
happened.
did
He
nearly
didn't
happen the
agree to
other
it, but he'd totally do it. 50k subs.
He'd totally do
never-
it once he
I'm
finds
never
an
gonna
option
get
how
to
he
50K
can
subs on YouTube.
get you to his house without you knowing where his house is.
What am I gonna do? Leave the house and go to hit? Why would I do that? You think I leave this place? No. I had the option yesterday. I didn't even do it.
But in terms of the Path of Exile game, what are you still doing there? What are you while streaming? Yeah, what are your like?
I just finally got the harvest boss, and I haven't done it yet. And I still haven't completed my atlas. I have a
So,
cheat sheet. Wait, let me.
That's the ideal teaser, right? Guys, if you want to see SlipperyJim do the harvest boss, you better go to his stream and check
I have
that
a
action out.
checklist. It says at the top, finish atlas, and then it says farm T13s for XP, and then it says get in 6 links, and then it says craft hat, whatever the fuck that's supposed to mean, and then it said fix flasks. All right, I just put whatever flasks were in my inventory. I don't really do flasks, so if you know how flasks work, come to the stream and tell me what to fix, because I was in T14 maps playing this Herald of Thunder build, and a man got very angry that I wasn't running a diamond flask, but I put one of those on to shut him up. And then one says, get that delirium jewel. I don't know what that means, but I wrote it down, so we'll try to do that.
Yeah, sounds. You actually have plans. See, wasn't that hard?
That doesn't mean I know what it means. I just wrote that last night while I was tired.
Okay. Well, I hope that you're going to find out, and that the viewers are gonna be there and be hyped about it.
Probably not.
Suit Size, we can find you on Twitch as well.
Yeah, I will be live on Twitch in about 18
20
minutes when the
minutes.
lab resets.
Yeah.
And I'll be doing the lab notes as usual, mapping out Uber, Merciless, Cruel, and Normal. After that, I will most likely be fighting the Harvest boss, because I think I'm like 2 maps away. I'll be finishing up the Poison BB character, and then we'll be moving into Ice Crash. And try to work towards Tribute Labs, and that's over at twitch.tv/SuitSizeSmall. And I'm also SuitSizeSmall pretty much everywhere else. On Twitter, I have a YouTube that I don't use. I have Instagram that you occasionally see cosplay stuff on.
And there's also a website where you upload your lab layouts.
Oh yeah, and yeah, all the lab notes and stuff is all on PoE Lab. I most recently actually have a Harvest Lab write-up posted there. So if you guys want to know more about the Harvest Lab, on the homepage PoE Lab, there's a little Harvest Lab button, or just go to poelab.com/Harvest Labs, and that will give you a bit more information on everything, from the mods to the rewards and to how to get them.
It's an incredibly useful resources for new and experienced players alike, because it has all the information in one spot that is related to lab, and there's even some other things that are interesting, some other little guides and tidbits of information. Definitely very recommendable. Yeah, Balor, what are you going to be up to on today's stream?
Just trying to stop my assassin from dying.
You gonna fill up
He
your
does.
currency stash tab again?
He dies a lot. Yeah, we gave up survivability to build it on a budget, but now he dies twice the map, and I don't know if I enjoy that. So we're gonna try and solve that today. And if I can't solve it, then I don't know.
Just not make a budget build?
Well, I mean, the budget version's 40x.
Oh,
Why do you sound like you're
that's
really
what
gonna
you call a
cry?
budget. It's like not a low budget
I
version.
mean-
It's just that there was a budget.
Well, no, this is the low budget version of the Speedy Boy assassin that people are running. That builds
What?
150 minimum.
It only cost me 2x. I'm
let
in
me
a small
tell you-
economy. No one cares about stuff. Stuff cheap.
Now let
Well.
me tell you, I made a lab runner in 100 chaos.
And he's
How
printing
about
money.
instead, maybe make a lab runner, and then cause yourself great pain by farming lab?
No. I can just
He could
I can just
like,
make
walk into a
literally
wall.
anything else. Yeah, I would rather not ascend my character at all and play an unascended anything than have to run lab for an entire day.
You're
Fair enough.
clearly not
Like-
an SSF kind of player.
You don't need lab. No offense. You
I
need,
don't
you
like-
don't need enchants. You don't need those pass.
Okay.
People got fine without it.
Last story, because we're getting on too long. Real quick
Nah, let's do
story.
a 4-hour podcast.
I had a brand new
I
player.
gotta run lab, man.
I had a brand new
Mhm.
player join this league that was in chat regularly, who followed my dominating blow build, and he was really happy with it. And he was like level 90, and he had like 20 watchstones. And then he asked me what Ascension was. He was a Templar. He was a level 19 dominating blow Templar. He had
Okay,
not ascended, who had killed collected a bunch of watchstones. I think it was like, it might have been 16 watchstones in. That's how strong of a league start that guy was.
God.
It's the new player's level 90 unascended, and he's like, yeah, I'm really enjoying it, but I die occasionally. Like, I'm dying like every second map I'll die, and I'm like, this build is nearly immortal. What are you doing? He's not ascended at all.
That's a really big kick W.
Missing Guardian ascendancy.
I'm just picturing the moment where you're like, let me check your profile. Wait, why are you just a Templar? Oh god.
So I just had to squeeze that in because, one, it's a testament to how good Dominating Blow is going to do. Like, that's, if your new player's unascended and like level 90 and 16 stones into the Atlas, then he's doing that's pretty decent build. But
I'm looking,
yeah.
I'm looking forward to trying that after Ice Crash. Oh man.
Yeah, I just remembered that, and I was like, I have to let everyone know that happened. It's too good.
Yeah, no, that's pretty amazing. But yeah, that also shows like you can never explain too much in a guide. If you make content for new players, the game is so complex and it's so easy to take single bits and pieces for granted. And I notice that all the time. Like I made a guide and I'm thinking, I think I touched upon everything. Like I explained way more than necessary. I explained how ES works from the start. And then like somewhere in the middle, I leave out some crucial information that I was unaware that it is crucial because I take it for granted. And then people are like, yeah, but this and that. And it's like, oh yeah. Terrible.
Now, on the flip side of that, if there's anything I've learned from running PoE for 4 years, sometimes people just don't read.
Oh, yeah.
People just don't read, and that
Especially when it comes to
that
skill
causes great
gems.
frustration.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, so many people would be helped with like just reading the description of the Spellslinger gem instead of asking how it works. Because it says it exactly.
Spawn sentinels on bosses in Dominating Blow? It's like the most common question in chat for the last like 3 weeks.
How though?
It's written on the skill gem.
It has a 20% chance when you hit, right?
Yeah.
Or something like that.
There's like a chance when you hit rare or unique enemies. It's written on the skill gem. And it's explicitly written in the guide.
Whoa.
And they mention it in all 3 of the videos. Like, I can't. I just gave up. I'm like, oh, it's fine. Just keep answering it.
I've been there. Hey, do you know there's a secret passage here? It's marked on the map.
I did get very angry at PoLab once because I looked at the thing. I just look at it and I go, okay, I get the layout. And then I get out of it and then I run it. And I got halfway through the lab. I'm like, okay, there's supposed to be a secret passage after the first desire or something. And I run the entire thing. You looked at the
wrong difficulty.
Like, no, I looked at the right difficulty. Everything was fine. I run the entire thing, and the map worked all the way up to the halfway point where the secret passage was supposed to be. And I'm just like, I just want to get out of this lab. Where's the passage? Can't find it. So pissed off. Look at the time. The lab had reset in the 10 seconds that I had went from the thing to when I was in, and it was a coincidence that the first half of the lab perfectly matched the map. And I spent 10 minutes in this fucking zone looking for the secret passage, thinking it was there, and I was being an idiot. I'm like, God, I fucking hate suit size piece of shit lab. And I'm looking everywhere. I'm like, oh, it's like 10 a.m. my time. The lab reset. I'm the idiot.
I'm still in the middle of running. I cannot tell you how many times where I've started running Uber Lab and someone messages like, hey, the Uber Lab layout's wrong. It's like, the lab reset like 5 minutes ago, man. I had a situation where the run was down for maintenance right at reset, and someone messaged me and was like, why is PoLab not updated? And it's like, and I'm looking at the maintenance screen.
No, you know,
why is it? You should just tell them it is. Go run it.
Oh man. Oh god.
Well,
just a coincidence. It's exactly the same as yesterday. Go run it. Find out.
Now I will say that does happen though, where the section layout can be the same, because I've had many a times where I go into the lab, start mapping it out, look at it, like this is yesterday's layout, and then like one thing's a little different, like a dark shrine's in different spots. Like, oh god, it's the exact same layout.
Yep.
Well,
my grandma just popped by to offer me food.
Nice. Next time she can cater for the entire podcast.
How's that gonna work? I can't mail you baked beans or a sandwich. I could
You
maybe.
You said that last time already that you can't mail food. I don't believe you. You're just not trying hard enough.
I don't think you've tried hard enough.
Well, you haven't even given me your address. Give me your address. I'll send you a potato.
That's a trick just to get my address.
No, I'm serious. Give me your address.
I'll give you a postmark
trick just to get a potato.
And put it in the thing.
Hey, Balor, I think you're underrating potatoes there.
They're pretty good. I'd go vegetarian if I was only. Is there a potato only one? Sweet
potato only endgame lab. Anyway, I think we've gone well over time, despite our plans to go less time than last time.
Why does that always happen?
I have no idea. Anyway,
I'd want to blame you, but it happens even when you're not here.
Oh, that's good.
So
I'll take the blame for talking about lab for the first time.
Yeah, but that's what you were here for.
It was like a 10-minute Labyrinth discussion. It's fine.
Which is an eternity to everyone else.
You talked about lab longer than it takes to run a lab for you.
But the thing is, that's interesting for the people, because the people who are not running lab don't know anything about lab. So it's like literally the first time that they hear about it, right?
Yeah, now
So
they
it's a
know not to
novelty.
run it.
Exactly.
Oh, don't worry. People who are new to the game don't watch this podcast anyway. I don't think anyone does.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Huh.
Yeah. I mean, if we continue to have you on, then
All right.
we're gonna kill our viewer
More
base
people that
pretty
are watching
easily.
this stream.
I'm bringing the numbers up.
Well,
One more than 0.
Well, the statistics are gonna show. We're gonna cut up this episode now, and then we'll see in 2 weeks from now when the new episode will be up. We'll see how this one fared versus the last ones.
I'm going to go back and edit this episode. I'm just going to cut out every time Jim speaks, just for that comment. And that's going to cut us back to the time that we wanted for the podcast.
You won't.
And then people are gonna comment on YouTube. They're gonna be like, "Why is Slippery Jim so disinterested and not saying anything?"
The whole word, the whole podcast. It's weird.
Anyway, guys, if you've missed the beginning of the podcast, this will be uploaded in full to youtube.com/BalorMage as usual. And we're going to upload it also to all the audio platforms. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and the other ones, I forgot the name, Google, and there's some smaller ones. There's tons of podcast platforms, but we managed to be on most of the ones that are at least relevant. And yeah, I want to just say thanks to the live audience, to the supporters, and to the listeners on said platforms. And make sure to look out for the next Faded Connections, which will be in 2 weeks' time from now. If I'm not mistaken, it will be on the 25th of July, Saturday night, 9 p.m. GMT as usual. And we'll be joined by 2 very interesting guests, which we will tease somewhere between here and now. Damn, it was such a good outro, and then I messed it up.
Such a good intro. Such a terrible outro.
Yeah, because you started speaking again. No. Thank you so much for coming on, Slippery Jim and SuitSizeSmall, and sharing your insight and your memes. And what did Slippery Jim bring?
He brought insight. I brought memes. Depression, memes, anxiety, jokes. The usual.
All right. Well, don't let that depression get to you. Stay strong in the current 2020 meta, and we'll see you in 2 weeks from now. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.
You have to say bye, Suit Size. They can't see you wave.
Goodbye.
What? Why couldn't they see Wave?
Because they're listening to the audio platform.
Oh,
Podcast.
people have audio as well. Right.
Look at this professional podcast host over here, understanding that maybe blind people listen.
Right there, where I said, they have audio as well. That's where I'm cutting it.
I thought we were cutting it after Suit Size said goodbye, but
We should, but now I'm going to just stretch that
Now
little
you're
bit
gonna
that
keep
makes
that
me
last
look
bit.
like an idiot.
if you're into that sort of stuff.
So much better. It's so much better.
Yeah.